come hardened to it, and how modern warfare is really tricky, and the ethics of it
it's
are
video game-ish.
Ooh, yeah, that's
like
what
when
they
you
said.
look at it, like
Yeah.
when you see what they're doing, they're sitting there with a remote, and it's not like your Xbox remote. It's not that. It looks like the ones I've seen anyway. I haven't seen them all, so maybe there are some that are like Xbox remotes, but it's just like like a joystick, like a plane would have to fly.
Right.
It's just, and you move a little bit left and right, and push the button, and you go. It has to have that feel.
It
right?
does,
Because
and
you're
that was the
looking at
point
a
of the
screen.
story. Yeah.
Right.
That it felt like a video game, and it's weird that you're not deployed necessarily, and it's kind of a 9 to 5, and the ethics of modern warfare when it comes to drones and that type of thing. And obviously that's not the type of war that's taking place in Ukraine. We keep talking about Ukraine, and Russia is more like the World War II type of land war, boots on the ground. But this bizarre drone warfare going after terrorist cells it raises ethics questions that we've never had to deal with before.
I would think the good effect of it is it probably removes post-traumatic stress disorder for people who are doing it, unless you are conscious of the fact, like if I would imagine some people who operate drones have removed the humanity from it because you're just looking at a screen. It's not real.
You're also being told this is your enemy.
This is right.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're
And
not,
so you think you're doing, but there's something about actually looking somebody in the face and shooting them, and doing it with a button and looking at a screen.
But again, do you think about how much is done from range, whether you're firing off a mortar or you're in a tank shooting, hundreds of yards down range? I mean, I think there is a lot of that. If you're a fighter pilot and you're dropping bombs, I mean, again, there's a lot of that's done from range. You're not really almost ever in that face-to-face mode.
But there's nothing more removed than that, unless you're the person making the decision.
Yeah.
Like you're the one who says, "Hey, go bomb this place."
Here you go.
Like that's it's your decision, but you are very much removed from the action.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything yourself. No button pushing, no shooting, no triggers, nothing. So I wonder how people who do operate those drones actually feel.
Probably the same as the rest of us. There's some that are okay with
probably.
it. They find a way to deal, and it probably bothers a lot of others. I mean, I think it's going to be like anything else when it comes to humans. Some people are okay, quote unquote, pulling the trigger, and other people will have moral questions about it. I mean, I think it'd be probably
some people can't wait to pull the trigger.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I were in that scenario, trained to do that, I wouldn't hesitate. I mean, like that, what you're doing, that's what you signed up to do, right? I mean, when you're given that job, you're going to be the drone operator. You're going to push the button. You know what's happening, and if I choose to do that, it means I'm okay with it.
Wow, this took a hard turn to the left, didn't it?
Or the right. I don't know. Which
right. Yeah, it just took a hard turn. Like we literally remember where you wore pants to work? Now we're talking about drone.
What a way to start your day.
We've got questions for Answer Man coming up a little bit later on the text line.
Oh, great.
Up next, polling numbers for the Prez. Not great. Not great.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Soaring inflation, rising interest rates, stock market volatility, and higher taxes. How will these unprecedented challenges impact you and your retirement? Find out in a one-night adult education class, Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll learn how to overcome the unprecedented challenges facing the next wave of retirees. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. Learn from a fiduciary advisor with decades of financial planning experience. Register now by calling 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis, and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED, but what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Military Appreciation Night, presented by Valley Sports Midwest, returns to the ballpark on Friday, July 15th. With the purchase of a theme ticket, fans receive an exclusive Cardinals cap honoring their favorite branch of the military. Plus, don't miss a pregame performance by United States Air Force Band Starlifter on the Budweiser stage. A portion of each ticket purchased will be donated to USO Missouri. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/theme. When the Cardinals host the Reds on Friday, July 15th, 25,000 fans, ages 16 and older, will take home a specially designed all-over print Cardinals hat, courtesy of Brown & Crouppen. Dress to impress with this exclusive Cardinals hat, featuring vintage Cardinals logos all over. That's Friday, July 15th. The Cardinals, the Reds, and the all-over print hat. Great seats remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotions.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
10:20 on a Thursday on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We got a little audio here that we're going to play, just a clip from CNN in a couple of seconds. But would you guys say it's fair at this point in United States history that the polling for the president of the United States is not good?
I would say it's jaw-droppingly, historically bad. 33. I've never seen 33%.
Now, before we play the clip that kind of breaks down some things in more detail, we had the story a couple of days ago where 64% of Democrats do not want Joe Biden to run again in 2024. And he was actually asked about that yesterday, and he kind of got mad. He was like, well, yeah, but 92% said they'd vote for him. Like, well, yeah. I mean, they're going to vote for you as opposed to the other party, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
But you're still, why isn't that 100%?
It doesn't.
Why is that not 100%?
Yeah, it doesn't mean he'd lose. It just means that they would prefer he not win a nomination again,
or someone else.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people would prefer someone else for both of these parties going into 2024. It's just so much with both of them.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is the 33% approval rating is historically bad, but he also has a 60% disapproval rating, which means for the first time his approval rating is more than 20 points below his disapproval rating. That's a huge gap.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a presidential historian, And I also know, by the way, that you're at a bottom right now as far as the charts go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in the basement at the moment. In 2 years, it may level off. I mean, there's a lot of time between now and then. But the point is, still, it's horrible right now, and it's not always just the result, but what actions are you taking to try to fix things, and are they the right ones? And it's I think telling not just that he's unpopular, because, of course, the people that didn't vote for him are going to think he's doing a bad job. But so many people that voted for him are already turned negative in a short amount of time.
Well, because Biden's victory was more of an indictment of Trump. Do you know what I mean? Than it was some people just absolutely head over heels in love with Biden. It wasn't that they were enthusiastic.
I'm not in love with the guy.
Yeah, they weren't enthusiastically in love with Joe Biden. It was an indictment of Trump, just as Donald Trump's victory in a lot of ways was an indictment of Hillary Clinton.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, people did not want Hillary Clinton to be president. Now, I want to be clear here, because I was saying I don't remember approval ratings this low. The fact that Biden's approval ratings have just continued to drop and they're staying at these abysmal numbers, that's what I don't remember. Donald Trump, for a few days in December of 2017, hit numbers about this low for a couple of days right before he lost the House and the Senate. And so his approval ratings dropped, but then they came back up. And to put it in perspective, when Biden had an approval rating that was 4 points higher, 37.4%. That was still lower than Trump's approval rating after January 6th. I mean, literally January 7th. So this 33 is abysmal.
And there's more to it than that too. So this clip that I want to play tells us a little bit more how it related to inflation, how it's related to some of the things that are going on here, and actually more detailed look than just positivity or negativity. This is CNN's Harry Enton kind of breaking down what they're seeing.
Obviously, inflation, huge concern, number one concern for many people. How is it affecting the president's job performance?
So, I made a limited number of slides tonight because the first slide is somewhat complicated. So I'm going to walk us through it.
Please.
And
I know. I'm thrown by slides.
I know. So we're going to keep
stage.
You're not that old. My mother perhaps has a few years ago. Any event.
Don't say that.
Well, I love my mother. Any event. The point is, take a look at Joe Biden's job disapproval rating since last year,
Anderson
July
Cooper,
of 2020.
stand-up routine.
Then look at it in 7 months ago in December of 2021, July of 2021, December of 2021, and now. What do you see? You see his disapproval rating is rising from the 40s into the high 50s. At the same time, look at the percentage of people who say that their top familial concern is, in fact, inflation. Back in July of 2021, a year ago, it was basically nobody who was saying that inflation was a large concern, maybe outside of Larry Summers. Then it started picking up in December of 2021, and now it is the clear number one issue, and we see this clear correlation. As more people are concerned about inflation, Joe Biden's disapproval rating climbs ever higher.
Larry Summers did get it right.
He did.
He was early. How does President Biden stack up against other presidents at this time in administrations?
So we can look at both Joe Biden's disapproval rating on inflation and Joe Biden's disapproval rating overall. And what we see is his disapproval rating on inflation is topping 70%. His disapproval rating overall is still in the 50s. But if you compare that to every single other president at this point in the first term, throughout polling history, this goes all the way back since the 1940s, he is the worst on both. And the reason he is the worst overall is because inflation is eating his presidency alive at this point.
Is worst bad?
Yeah, I think it's the baddest.
Because when we go back that far, right? And we're going back 80 years, 82 years with the polling. That's Harry Enton, by the way, on CNN with Anderson Cooper. The over 82 years, this is not the first time, because they're comparing presidents in the first term at this stage, right? We're not that far into it. You're a year and a half in. A lot of people have come in during that time in difficult circumstances. They've not all come into sunshine and rose petals where everything's nice and laid out at their feet for them. And what you do, what you say, the suggestions that you make for policies, the way that you deliver messages, all of this stuff impacts how you're viewed.
Sure.
Which tells me that none of those things are going right. You can't fix anything alone, but you can inspire confidence. You can show people that you think there's a plan and there's a way and start to enact it. And it certainly doesn't seem like that's being received that way.
There are a lot of factors at play, and I don't believe he's very good at I think there was a time where he was better at communicating. But he's clearly not that good at it right now. And that is an issue. And that's part of the reason we are where we are now. But it's a confluence of events. It's this. It's we're at the tail end of COVID. Some people would argue we're still there. But also, it is really hyper-partisan, and it may be worse now than it ever has been. I think it's worse now than it was 2 years ago, to be honest.
Chris Ranji, Amy Markscourse, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Monkeypox in St. Louis. I'm trying to figure this out when we come back on the show.
Did you hear what Glover said?
Every day, of course, new studies, new surveys, new this, new that. And it's all about gut health, which is now the most important thing in the world. It's not just about what you eat. It's about when you eat it. And I just about had a meltdown. And I think you guys will get this. But don't you yearn sometimes for the days of like grandma made an apple pie out of lard and you just eat it?
Right.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm just so tired of the minutia about life.
The Dave Glover Show. Weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan with Dr. Andrew Blackburn of Urology of St. Louis. Dr. Blackburn, maybe you could tell our listeners what sets Urology of St. Louis apart from the others.
Being the largest private practice in St. Louis and one of the largest private practices in the Midwest, we were able to have a wider array of urologists who have been trained at some of the best institutions in the country, who have come here to practice and able to provide excellent urologic care to the people of St. Louis and the St. Louis area.
And talk a little bit about accessibility.
At Urology St. Louis, we strive to make sure that patients have access to fantastic care. We want to make it efficient for patients. We offer telehealth appointments. We want to be there for them and make it as efficient for them as possible.
Dr. Andrew Blackburn of Urology of St. Louis, the largest private practice urologic team in the area. Make an appointment today at stlurology.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota. If you're worried about gas prices, Toyota has the most models of hybrid electrics in the industry. From the best-selling Camry to the best-selling RAV4, we've got it all. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946, all nines. If you just inherited a property and you're not sure what you're going to do with it and you want an as-is sale, please reach out to us today. Especially with probate cases, we do a lot of work with the probate courts and we're very familiar with the confusing process. So if you have a house that you want to sell fast, maybe something that you just inherited, please reach out. Phone number is 314-946, all nines, ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN, 946-9999.
At 10:30, sunny skies, 87 degrees downtown of the Arch. I'm Stuart McMillan. Here's what's happening. The nation's largest bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, reports that their earnings fell 28% last quarter, and that's causing the stock market to tumble right now. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 427 points. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits last week hit its highest level in nearly 8 months. Applications for jobless aid for the week ending in July 9th rose by 9,000 to 244,000. Details are sparse after a man was killed in a brutal dog attack in North St. Louis last weekend. St. Louis police say animal control and the medical examiner are handling the investigation. KMOX reached out to the animal control and were told that 3 dogs were seized but were not released any other information. A 92-year-old was also attacked that same day but survived. It's believed was by the same 3 dogs. Police did not say if there were other victims. Amtrak's Missouri River Runner resumes full service tomorrow with 2 daily round trips for summer travel. There'll be morning and afternoon departures from St. Louis to Kansas City. Stalled vehicle 270 northbound before Dorset. 2 right lanes closed right now. There's also stalled vehicle 55 northbound past Arsenal, has the right shoulder having a problem there. Weather for today is brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. A high of 95, mostly sunny today. Low of 74 tonight, mainly clear. Tomorrow, high of 95 and still hot. Clouds and sunshine throughout the day. And for Saturday, hot and humid, more clouds. A high of 96 is expected. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today, now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. That's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Right now, 87 degrees downtown to the Arch, sunny skies. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A bad team facing a good team is never completely out of it.
Nick Costos, co-host of You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the BetQL network.
There's 162 games in the season. The best teams are going to lose 60 plus times, and the worst teams are going to win 60 plus times. Each night is its own individual entity. That's what makes betting on the baseball regular season so much fun.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to You Better You Bet with Nick Costos and Ken Barkley, streaming weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
I'm Listening reminds you that talk saves lives, and 988 makes it even easier to reach out and talk. 911 for emergency services, 988 for mental health needs. 988 connects you with trained counselors in over 200 crisis centers nationwide. Find out more at imlistening.org.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now. Without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99, guaranteed. That's right, don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings and lose the weight. That's right. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis, and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
15 years ago, we were adding on to our home. And so I convinced Sean we should update the kitchen.
We did some research and we decided to go with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Their reputation was phenomenal. To design, do the construction and the finish work, what we wanted was what we got from start to finish. So fast forward 15 years, our family's changed. We've gotten bigger.
There just wasn't the space in the kitchen anymore. People were banging into each other.
We decided 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Here's the problem. What are our solutions? Comparing working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath 15 years ago, today, their ability to design what you want was the same.
Everything has been what I want.
The quality of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I think, is phenomenal. The countertops and the cabinets that they use are great. They were just good guys doing good work.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sundays at 10:15 on Sports Open Line and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
On KMOX.
All right, you're on the show on KMOX. Chris Ronzi, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. So we're, I heard it on TIAM this morning. We're now one of the cities that has had monkeypox show up.
Yep.
This clearly is not carrying, nor should it, the weight that, say, COVID did when it first came up. I mean, we know that it's problematic. We know that it can make you very sick. But it's not as easily spread as COVID. It's not the same kind of threat, but it's still a threat. It's still a health concern, and it's still something that we're all going to want to be monitoring and paying attention to. And it's also something, by the way, we actually already have some solutions for. Yeah. If we could just access them.
The smallpox vaccine works for the monkeypox, and it's a different approach to this emerging pandemic, if that is an appropriate word for it, because the transmissibility is just different. It needs to be prolonged close contact. Now, we know that it is spreading most of the time through intimate activity, although if someone, if you're sharing a bed with someone or whatever, and they happen to have the disease, it can be spread other ways. So it's not always just sexual activity. So it's a little bit harder to spread, although this particular virus has never really gotten into Europe and the United States. It's been for a while in certain regions of Africa, but it wasn't quite as transmissible. This one is. We're starting to see it spread. What bothers me about this was a manageable situation. We knew it was coming. We already have existing vaccines. The United States was going to get 1 million monkeypox vaccine doses that were currently being made in Denmark. And those doses are still in Denmark, as we now have thousands of cases in New York because of red tape. the FDA. Now, listen, we already know that red tape slowed the response to the testing, right? The testing for COVID. Not even talking about vaccines. I'm just talking about the tests at the
in
beginning
the early days
of
yeah.
the pandemic.
Right.
The red tape, the bureaucracy, it was just so slow that people suffered because of it. Now, we knew, and I've been reading up, it's really hitting the East Coast hard. There was a big LGBT gathering in Provincetown and then also in New York. And the people going to these gatherings said, hey, we want to get vaccinated because it is hitting our community so much harder than it is the general population right now. And those vaccines weren't available. And whether it's the Biden administration or the FDA or the combination of the two, the failures to get these vaccines and make them available when we knew this was coming, to me, it's insupportable.
In New York, they have a vaccine website where you can set an appointment. And it was earlier this week, I believe, the website crashed because there's such a demand for it to happen. And I know there's difficulty in, so what is it? There are 800,000 doses they expect to be in this country by the end of this month. So, I mean, it's the middle of the month right now. We're talking probably a week or two away before they get here. But every day that goes by is an opportunity for the disease to spread. And it was the exact same thing for coronavirus in the early days of that as well. And I know there's a difficulty with like the flight. They have to have refrigerated flights and they can only move so many per flight. But it seems like that's something that should have been done a long time ago.
And that's not what's holding it up right now. Again, there was, with these vaccines in Denmark, the FDA refused to import the shots because it failed to inspect the plant in Denmark. Now, the plant that's making these vaccines has been inspected by the European Union, but the FDA wanted to do it themselves. Fine. They didn't do it. They had months to do it. They didn't do it. So now the European Union's regulatory arm, they said, we inspected the plant. Here are the vaccines. And the FDA said, no, sorry, we got paperwork we got to fill out. Meanwhile, thousands of people are getting monkeypox.
All right, so I'll play devil's advocate, even though I hate to here, because
Amy loves it. So let's see how you do.
I have to. I'm not. I don't necessarily agree with what I'm about to ask. I'm going to present the other side, and the other side of it is from the FDA side. They have paperwork because they have procedures. They have procedures that have been put into place basically for safety reasons. Are we? What's the workaround on that? Is it less concern about taking every step to make sure that you are doing things the right way? Is it ignoring paperwork? I mean, like, I'm having a hard time making the argument a little bit because I'm not super passionate about it. But I think we have the rules that we have in place for a reason. How do we cut that back? Would be my question. How do we cut back on the bureaucracy, the red tape, without adding some risk to the thing?
And I think that's a fair question because my feeling is, look, if the EU says it's good, just get it over here. We're fine. But
and again, I agree with that.
But from the FDA's perspective, they're thinking this. All right, let's say we trust the EU. We get those 800,000 doses here. We administer them to all those people, and then something is wrong with those doses, and we signed off on it. How are people going to trust us in the future?
Are they allowed to think that, or do they have to follow a procedure? Like when we look at,
maybe it's the law. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because I'm all for criticism. I'm all for, hey, we got to be better. And if there's a way to eliminate red tape, to eliminate meaningless, mindless bureaucracy just because, count me in.
Yeah.
But I want to know the answer to that before I actually go to the next step where I'm going to be critical and say that's a horrible thing. How did it happen?
The way I see this from their perspective, and I totally understand it, because again, let me reiterate, I am more than comfortable with the European Union telling me it's okay. I don't need any additional step, but I can understand a governmental organization, because of the environment, the way things are now, where there's so much distrust of the FDA, of the CDC. People don't think the FBI is on the up and up. Like there's so much distrust of all of these different entities, governmental entities, that I think they want to be as careful as possible. And sometimes them being too careful is a problem because they're trying to curb the perception that they're not good at what they do.
Are they though, or do they not have a choice?
I don't know.
Do they literally have
I don't
no
know.
choice
It's a
based
good
on the
question,
law?
but I bet what I'm talking about is part of it too.
There's a difference too between due diligence and unnecessary red tape and bureaucracy and all these papers that have to be sent. We've all seen that. We've all experienced excess paperwork where you think this can't be the
I
most
just feel like the
efficient way
paperwork's
to
about
do something.
liability.
Well, again,
But here's the thing.
Maybe that exists, but if you're a person in a job that has federal law regulating it, you do have to follow the law. You can't just disregard it.
So what we need to do is, it's bloat. It's bureaucratic bloat. Let's look at the FDA. How can we make these processes more efficient? Because you can't say, well, that's the policy. We have to sign all these papers. It didn't work during COVID with the COVID tests. It slowed things down. It's slowing things down with the response to monkeypox. And by the way, the EU inspected this plant a year ago, and the FDA said, okay, we just need to inspect it now because we've already ordered these doses. What were they doing for a year? Now, there was a guy, he co-founded a group called Prep for All, and his name is James Krellenstein, and he worked on pushing officials to expand access to medication to prevent HIV, right? So the Biden administration was asked about it. They kind of gave the runaround about monkeypox, and he said it was bull blank. And he said, quote, why were the Europeans able to inspect this plant a year ago, ensuring these doses can be used in Europe, and the Biden administration didn't do the same? The FDA is making a judgment that they'd rather let gay people remain unvaccinated for weeks and weeks and weeks than trust the European certification process. Now, to your point, Ranj, whether they want to trust the EU process or not, why didn't they deal with this a year ago?
Could have done it sooner.
Well, again,
I don't have an answer for that.
That's why I'm asking, do we know that they're following the law and they have to, or is this simply bureaucratic nonsense?
But here's the thing.
Because if we know, I'm with you guys. I'm 100% with you.
But even if they're following the law, they should have what slowed
Started
it
the
up a year ago.
process sooner.
Start
Yeah.
the process sooner. The
For
Biden
sure.
administration, the EU, that's why they had these doses. They knew that this would be a thing. And for Biden, just because politicians make promises, he said, I can handle a pandemic. I know how to deal with these things. My administration would be more efficient. This is a failure.
Couple of texts at 314-436-7900. One of them, 314, says it's about the urgency or lack thereof, which is exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Another one said, so what results have the EU had without the red tape? And then, of course, they've had success with this vaccine. So in other words, are they without the red tape that we are? I don't know. It's a good question.
Oh, the EU is not known for being more lax in regulatory.
Oh, no. That's right.
motions.
Right. But in other words, he's asking, what can we learn from them?
Right.
It's a great question.
Great
And I
question.
really think that as a general rule, this specifically for sure, but as a general rule, we probably should be learning some lessons from some other people on a whole lot of topics.
No, Kevin. Nobody does it better than America.
Well, and I will say this regarding the regulations and the red tape.
Good question. by the way.
Sometimes it may be safety, but in the instance of the baby formula that we were not importing European baby formula, it was because the labels had certain things that were not in English, right? They were a different language. And so it's like, you're not meeting our labeling standards. Meanwhile, mothers are struggling to make sure that their infants have this very specific formula, and label regulations were holding up the formula.
And again, is that law that they have to follow or a guideline that you have some flexibility with? That's my question. And I still have never heard an answer to that, by the way.
I think they're just guidelines because this is an executive branch issue.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to get to what's trending next up here on KMOX.
For over 50 years, Stl Fenceworks has been serving the St. Louis, the St. Charles, the Franklin, and Warren counties. This is ever since Stl Fenceworks opened up in 1971 by Russ and Carolyn Long, and now their son, Sean Timothy Long, he runs the company. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about inflation and how expensive everything is, from gas prices to going to the grocery store. The good news is Stl Fenceworks is the #1 fence and deck contractor in the state of Missouri, and they've been able to leverage that position to make sure that they can keep supplies and materials on hand. That's right, ready to go. So you don't have a long lead-in time when you want to get your fence put in the ground or a deck built. And now is a great time to get a deck built, by the way, because we're heading into the late stages of summer and then fall, and the weather is beautiful. You're going to have barbecues and parties. And we all know that the person with the best backyard, we tend to congregate there for parties and get-togethers. And Stl Fenceworks can help make your backyard dreams come true. And again, you do not have to worry about long lead-ins with products, and also the prices stay low. They continue to pass the savings on to you. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com. It's 10:46.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
If you're recently retired or nearing retirement, you've got your work cut out for you. Between soaring inflation, stock market volatility, and the threat of higher taxes, saving and investing alone won't be enough. Learn how you could overcome today's toughest retirement challenges in a one-night adult education class called Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have saved at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. This is your opportunity to learn from decades of financial planning experience. Call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
Join Yadier Molina and your favorite Cardinals players at the Flavors of Puerto Rico charity dinner on Monday, August 15th at the Chase Park Plaza. You can enjoy rum-based cocktails and dinner prepared by one of Puerto Rico's celebrity chefs. The event benefits Foundation for Yadi's Foundation, which raises funds for underprivileged kids in St. Louis and Puerto Rico. For tickets or to sponsor, visit YadierMolina4.com or send an email to info@YadierMolina4.com for more information. You can also check the events page at KMOX.com/events.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. It's the collectors. It's those credit cards you ran up trying to start your business. Now you found out that a DBA hurts the family and brings the pain home.
For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped customers get millions in credit. Ray Reynolds will get your score above 750. Do you need $50,000 of corporate credit? Now you can call Ray's webinar at 800-486-9020 and get your credit score up to 750 and receive a $1,000 cash credit card within days. That's 800-486-9020.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm sure that you've felt the shift in the real estate market and have wondered how it will affect you. Is it time to buy or is it time to sell? What are your options? Hi, I'm Christina Straight with Straight Realty. Give us a call and we can discuss a strategy that works for your individual needs in this ever-changing market. Quality and experience at a more affordable rate. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444. 314-441-4444.
Free Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the GelmanTeam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at the GelmanTeam.com.
Nature Valley has helped restore access to 10,000 miles of national park trails and counting because everyone deserves to experience what's out there. Head over to your local park to see for yourself. Nature Valley, life happens out there.
How long does it take an adult to learn to swim? It typically takes 20 hours of set lessons. What are you waiting for? Go to swimonfoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444. More Amy, more Kevin, more Chris.
What is this weird show?
The show on KMOX.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, time to see what's trending as we get near 11 o'clock here on KMOX. It's the show with Chris Ranji, Amy Markscores, and Kevin Wheeler. All right, here's what I got trending. First thing that popped up on the old trender when I clicked it. It's National Nude Day.
Oh.
Thank God.
Happy National Nude Day, guys.
Oh.
You know what? It's really hard to celebrate National Nude Day at a place that requires pants.
We just talked about this.
I thought you knew about it.
Oh,
I thought that's why you were talking about it.
If it's a national something day, like when it's National Donut Day
We
or
all
Hot
get
Dog
donuts.
Day, we get hot dogs.
Yeah.
National Burger Day, National Ice Cream Day, we get those things. Why don't we get National Nude Day? We don't get to
feel-
celebrate that at work.
I
no.
feel like we
It's a federal
wouldn't want
holiday.
to.
It's a federal.
Yeah.
It's just a Twitter trend. It's hashtag National Nude Day.
No, federal holiday.
Do you know what else is trending? Now I'm stressing out. So Canada is trending. I thought, oh, why is Canada trending? It's because the federal government of Canada now says mandatory random testing of travelers arriving at its 4 main airports will start again next week. So Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal, and Toronto. Now, this would not be a huge deal, except now in September, I'm going to Canada. And this is kind of like Ronj's fear of having the wrong thing amputated. My current fear is testing positive for COVID. You know, I'm totally no symptoms and I test positive at a really inopportune time. My fear, and maybe this mandatory testing will be lifted by September, but my fear is that I get there, day 1, I test positive, no symptoms, and they lock me in a room for 14 days. It stresses me out, man.
That would be very stressful.
A friend did that. So he was running the Paris Marathon, trains for 6 months, gets to Paris and tests positive.
Oh,
so not only can he not run the marathon, but he's stuck with the bill for
that's
being
what I was gonna ask.
quarantined in a hotel for 14 days.
So if you get quarantined forced by the government, you're still paying for that, right?
Really?
Yeah, like they're not paying for
That's
it.
like my biggest objection to it all.
Because you know what they're like?
Me stay there. You better cover my butt.
But I get it from their perspective because they're like, we didn't tell you to come here.
Yeah.
I didn't make you come over here. This isn't a government sanctioned trip.
Conspiracy. Quarantines there. It's a big hotel. Big hotel wants people to be stuck at their place
Big hotel.
for 14 days.
There is a hotel lobby. Guys, crossbows are trending.
Oh.
Crossbows?
Well, yeah, crossbows.
Is it crossbow season?
No, but I do know this. You're not supposed to fire a crossbow into the air. We remember
Should you
how
fire anything into the air that could be
well,
dangerous?
that's what I was going to say. We did just go over this around the 4th of July. Do not fire your gun in the air for
Right.
New Year's Eve, for 4th of July, for any reason, because the bullet has to come down. Same thing is true if you have fired an arrow from your crossbow, because
or from your bow, right? I mean, like, hey, look, I'm an
any
expert in
bow,
this. I'm an
yeah.
expert in this. I've seen Braveheart. I've seen a lot of movies where they shoot arrows up in the air and they come down and kill people.
So this is exactly what happened in China.
Oh, that's horrible.
And there is a photo of it. This poor lady she made it. She's okay.
All right, good.
She's okay. But the arrow.
Why are you laughing?
I'm horrified right now. This is another fear of mine now, is being
getting hit by an arrow.
skewered. Yeah.
Because I'm not kidding. And I'm going to show you guys the photo
Yeah.
so you can see this. But you know how Steve Martin used to have the arrow through the head thing?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that.
Really?
Yeah. It's but she lived. She's okay. They removed it. It didn't hit any.
Wait, did it go in her head?
It went in her head, but like I think it didn't hit anything important. So that's what they
Except her
say.
head?
So she's okay. She survived. She's okay, but do not fire your bow and arrow, your crossbow, your
Anything
gun.
dangerous.
Do not fire anything into the air because
like,
those things have to come down.
Some people will shoot off like fireworks. You can fine, like there are people that have miniature rockets that they go set those off. That's different.
Oh my gosh.
That's
They
different.
blurred it out.
Yeah,
They blurred out her face.
that looks just like not good at all.
Looks like the Steve Martin thing.
It's not quite. Well, to be clear though,
Sorry,
like,
it's not
look,
funny.
To be clear, because people are being like, "How?" It's not all the way through the middle. It's like more toward the front.
Yeah, it's toward
like
the front.
if you had
like
an
through her
eyebrow
eyelid.
piercing, it looks just like that, except
But
it's
it is
an arrow.
in one part of the skull and out another
Yeah.
part of the skull. But it's not like through the ear
It's not
and
through
out
the brain.
other ear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it missed her brain, so she'll be okay.
That's horrible, man.
It is.
I can't believe you were
This
laughing.
happened in China.
I mean,
someone was just shooting a crossbow.
Yes.
Now,
Yikes.
again, this is a case where they shot it in the air and that happened?
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
The angle on that is really weird.
crossbows
She must
in
have
the
been
air?
looking up at it.
A 3.5 foot bow or 3.5 foot arrow. So it's a pretty big arrow.
It's super long, yeah.
Oh my
Yep. They had to
goodness.
use bolt cutters
Oh my
to
gosh.
remove one end, and then they had to pull it out the other side.
This is very like Monty Python,
Yeah.
where the guy's just walking around with an arrow, or like with it's only a flesh wound. That's not an
Oh
arrow.
no,
but-
yeah, that's yes. So you're talking about the knight
The
at
knight,
the bridge.
yeah.
Yeah. That's totally different, Amy.
No, but the idea of the arrow is Monty Python. I I think there's an arrow in Monty Python.
Just a scratch.
Trending brought to you by Old Town Donuts in Cottleville and Florissant. We got a lot more coming your way. We're going to get
your arms off.
We're going to get to some of the video/audio from the Uvalde school shooting and some people's reaction to the mayor's statements yesterday coming up after the news.
Soaring inflation, rising interest rates, stock market volatility, and higher taxes. How will these unprecedented challenges impact you and your retirement? Find out in a one-night adult education class, Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll learn how to overcome the unprecedented challenges facing the next wave of retirees. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. Learn from a fiduciary advisor with decades of financial planning experience. Register now by calling 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817. 8817.
The Wall Street Journal reported that home equity is at record levels. And while home values continue to soar, rising interest rates make it harder than ever to unlock equity. But what if you could cash out your home's equity right now while it's still sky high and not have to move? You can with Truehold.com. Truehold will buy your home for full cash value. Best of all, you get to bank all the cash now and continue living in your home. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. Let's review. Truehold pays your home's full value in cash fast. Use your cash to do everything you've dreamed of, like travel or pay off debt. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com for the smarter, faster way to cash out your home's full value without having to move. 1-855-300-9993. 1-855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
An Odyssey station.
At 420ID.com, we make it easy to get your Missouri medical marijuana card. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in, so why wait? 420ID is the only company that provides you with a real plastic ID card and have served over 19,000 happy Missouri patients. Open late every day until 9 p.m. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420ID.com. Today is the day to sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card at 420ID.com. Use promo code RADIO and save $30 today. That's 420ID.com.
This is Corey with Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Shopping around for new HVAC systems is something nobody ever wants on their to-do list. So let's help make things easier with free estimates on new equipment, up to $2,150 on Carrier Cool Cash rebates, and 0% financing for up to 72 months. With over 50 years of award-winning service, you can trust Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling with your new system install. For details and to get in your comfort zone, contact Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky and 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, inflation at the wholesale level climbed 11.3% in June compared with the year earlier. The latest painful reminder that inflation is running hot through the American economy.
Inflation in the United States remains unacceptably high, and it's our administration's top economic priority to bring it down.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, JP Morgan Chase, the nation's largest bank, missed its quarterly earnings estimates. Despite this, CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says consumers are still spending.
Although the bank seems to be preparing for a coming recession, it did say that consumers increased spending on JP Morgan credit cards and actually continue to pay their bills on time.
A big turnout for a ceremonial bill signing this morning. Cortex President Sam Fiorello explains House Bill 3007.
This important legislation will establish Missouri as the lead innovator of advanced manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and semiconductors.
Governor Parsons' signature approves $15 million in grant funding. Parsons says the pandemic showed us that our economy has become too reliant on other countries to manufacture the things we need.
We need to rely less on other countries and begin to move critical manufacturing back
to the United States.
Tony Sardella, CEO of the API Innovation Center at Cortex, says we have a very fragile drug supply in the United States.
It leaves us incredibly vulnerable to political tensions, trade changes, and puts us in a very vulnerable state.
He says the mission is to advance technology and manufacturing in the U.S. and secure the supply chain. Reaction continues to the leaked video of the Robb Elementary School surveillance video of the May shooting. Chief Jimmy Perdue is president of the Texas Police Chiefs Association.
By the time the officers came in the door, I counted 17 rounds that were fired before the officers were actually fired upon. And so that tells me that they knew exactly where the gunman was. They knew that there was an active shooter situation going on.
The entire 77-minute video will be shown to Uvalde, Texas residents Sunday. President Biden and Israel's leader are airing differences over how to keep Iran from developing a nuclear weapon.
At a joint news conference in Jerusalem, the president defended his bid to revive an international deal aimed at stopping Tehran's rapidly developing nuclear weapons program.
Diplomacy is the best way to achieve this outcome.
Moments earlier,
diplomacy will not stop them.
Prime Minister Yair Lapid.
The only way to stop them is to put a credible military threat on the table.
The president yesterday said he'd be willing to use force as a last resort, and today said the U.S. will not wait forever for Iran to respond to terms for rejoining the agreement. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk, Prime Day's impact.
Online spending rose 8.5% to almost $12 billion during Amazon's Prime Day promotion. According to Adobe, the two-day event helped boost traffic on competing sites such as Walmart and Target that held their own sales. Amazon sold more than 300 million items over 2 days, more than any previous Prime Day. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel is down 324 points to 30,448. And we've got a stall 6440 east at Boone's Crossing on the right shoulder, 170 south at Natural Bridge on the right shoulder, 270 north before Dorset. The two right lanes are closed, and 270 west before Elizabeth, the right lane is closed. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Well, a mostly sunny sky through the afternoon. We'll get up to a high of around 95 degrees, so it will be a hot afternoon. Mainly clear sky tonight, low 74. Still hot tomorrow with some sunshine, high 95. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Right now we've got sunshine, 88 in Florissant, 90 in St. Peter's, and 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. Feels like 91. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we are more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
It's 11:05 on the show here on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. All right, so yesterday we talked about the video being released of the hallways, essentially, while the Uvalde shooting was going on, and we talked about the response, the guys standing around, people going down the hallway and then coming back. I mean, it was just, it's all very confusing, and none of it looks like anything that you would expect in a situation like that, given what the training is, and we know what what the training is for the for the school shooters, mass shooters. It is to immediately engage and try to stop the killing. Right, that's the training.
And knowing that you may be taken out, it may be one or two of you who does get shot. You keep advancing on the shooter.
That is written in the guide, and it actually was written specifically in the training modules for the Uvalde Police Department that they when they were going. And I'm sure it's probably a standard thing, right? And the line in that training manual in the document was something along the lines of you have to put yourself at risk to do this, and if you don't want to do that, then maybe you need to find another line of work. I mean, that's basically what it said.
Because it did specify the first one or two of you may go down.
Right.
Like, I mean, you may be shot, you may be killed, and you just the next man. You keep going until you stop the shooter.
Until you stop the killing, right? That we know that's the training. It's been talked about by experts all over the country. We aren't the ones that decided that. We're going by what the experts have said is that the training is stop the shooting. Well, not everybody was happy that the video came out the way that it did or when it did. There were some of the families that were in Washington, D.C. to take part in a march. Some of those families were very unhappy that the video came out before they got to see it. So because apparently this coming weekend, there was going to be an opportunity for them to see it, to be briefed on the situation by the authorities in Texas. And some of them were not happy that it came out. Others were okay with it. There was another family member that's like, hey, listen, it's terrible, right? We would rather have seen it first, but people need to see this. People need to know what's going on. Well, the mayor in Uvalde was not happy at all. His name is Don McLaughlin, and he was speaking at, I guess it sounds like it was a town hall meeting, because he's there with other council members, and they're taking questions from people in the audience. And here's kind of where they came down on the release of the video.
Well, 2/3 of the family, or part of their families, are in Washington, D.C. right
Yes,
now.
sir.
And they're going to have to turn on the TV and see that tonight, not even with the rest of their family. This was wrong to do it this way. The video needed to be released, but the family should have got to see it first.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
The mayor said chicken, it was chicken.
Yeah.
To release that video the way you did it. That part of that video was not supposed to be in what they're doing on Sunday. That was not supposed to be there. They did that for ratings, and they did that for money. And that's the only reason they put that out there. We're going to handle that.
You said that they did a good job. You still think they did a good job?
Adam, I'm not going to get into an argument with you on that deal. I haven't seen the video yet, but I can tell you that one of the officers you called that got grades in that deal, in that video, he goes back down that hall 3 times trying to get in that room. 3 different times. 3 different times.
Everybody if they think
I know what everybody thinks, and we need to let the investigation come through.
You got to get graded by sheetrock. Y'all are attacking the media. Y'all should attack. Yeah, you're attacking them cops that did nothing.
You're missing the point, Adam, because you don't want to hear but what you want to hear.
So that's the mayor, Don McLaughlin. Now, you can't really hear the question super great, but essentially the mayor and one of the council people were calling whoever released the video to the media and to the media outlets that released it, called them chicken. Said it was chicken blank thing to do that. And this resident comes up and says, well, are you calling the police chickens? Because we're seeing them do nothing. You're not criticizing them, but you're criticizing the media. And his response was like, well, I haven't seen the video. You haven't seen it? You didn't watch any of that at all. Like, I mean, you're the mayor. And number one, that's a terrible excuse, because that's what everybody says when they don't want to comment on something. Well, I haven't seen it. He did, by the way, earlier, he did say that he had seen the first 4 minutes of it. So you saw at least 4 minutes of what this was. And the citizen continued and basically said, well, you're perfectly fine criticizing everybody else. Are you going to criticize the police? And that's when he went into, let's have the investigation play out and all that. I got to agree with the point that citizen is making, which is you can sit up there and yell at people for releasing it, and maybe it is in poor taste before the families get to see it. But the fact of the matter is everybody was going to get to see it at some point anyway, and your criticism should be just as harsh for the people in that video not doing what they were trained to do.
It should be harsher. It's not about the release of the video, and I don't know who Adam is that he was referring to.
Right, that was
and
the
he says,
citizen.
Adam, you missed the point. No, Adam did not miss the point. The point is that there was a failure on many fronts in a massive way, and that includes all of the law enforcement who were there, and after the fact, the way it was treated by the city, by the mayor, by the chief of police, who has since resigned. All of those people failed in a very public and awful way. And it's very easy to go ahead and, because this is what a lot of people do, let's just blame the media. Let's blame the media because they're out to get me. They're here for ratings. You know what? Get lost with that stuff. That shooting was 7 weeks ago. 7 weeks. So at some time over the last 7 weeks, you should have and could have, if you wanted to, release that video to the families first. You had a month and a half, over a month and a half, almost 2 months here we're talking about, to show that to the families and be more open, more transparent with them, and you chose not to be. So you can go to bed with that stuff. I don't want to hear that it's the media looking out for ratings. No, it's you looking out for yourself.
They fought to keep that from being released.
Absolutely.
Well, and what's interesting, because we keep talking about the failure on that day, the failure is continuing. The way this is being handled seems to be just I don't know if it's incompetence, it's a lack of transparency. They're, purposefully trying to evade being clear on what happened, what information they have, where the points of failure were. That's what's so shocking about this is that not only, my goodness, did you have multiple agencies go against everything they were trained to do in the sense of taking out an active shooter while you could hear the shots going on, but then the agencies, the leaders failing to be transparent about that failure and just compounding the pain for so many families. And I know we talked about the police officer with his phone.
The one that
in the video,
Raj was talking about with the Punisher icon.
with the Punisher icon. And interesting because what we have since found out is that he was the police officer whose wife was in the schoolroom.
The teacher, yeah.
The teacher, and she was saying she was bleeding, she had been injured, and the kids. And so
she had texted him.
He's looking at that text. And I got to be honest. First of all, their training as cops is to take out the active shooter. But once you find out that that's your wife, again, they should have gone in anyway. How do you not lose your mind and go in?
I don't know. Like even and I know Kevin brought this point up earlier. Maybe she was explicitly telling him, "Don't come down here.
Don't put yourself on the line
because we need you to be alive for our
kids."
kids."
Not how it works.
Maybe, but dude, if it's and I don't know. Like I don't know.
Here's the thing. We know that shortly after that, he was removed from the scene by his fellow officers. So we don't know. I'm not sure exactly how long that took. I mean, it could have been as simple as he sees the text, he's hesitating because we don't know what the message is, and his buddies are seeing it, and they say, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, my wife just texted me. She's shot, and she's in there." It could have been right then. They're saying, "Listen, we got to get you out of here. You're not. We'll take care of it, buddy. We got your back. We're gonna go get him." I don't know exactly how that played out. I agree with everybody who says your instinct has to be to just that would make more incentive to go, right? I mean, that's what I felt at the time. I heard that. I'm like, well, then I'm going right now. And if I get shot, I get shot. But if your wife is saying to you, "Don't come, it's too late. Our kids need you." I don't know. I mean, but
because then you're admitting, I wanted to let all those other kids die so that I could be around.
You're not
for
admitting
my kids.
anything like that. If you hesitate in a moment of high stress and anxiety, you're getting a text from your wife saying, "I'm dying." The shock of that can cause you to pause, even for just a moment. And if that pause is the amount of time it took for someone to get him out of there, to drag him out of there, I don't want to judge that.
No, I'm not judging the pause.
I will judge everyone else who stood there.
I'm not judging the pause. I thought you were arguing that if you were to make the decision, well, I'm not going to go in because my wife told me not to. That I would judge.
Oh, I would still go personally. I'll be honest with you.
I don't judge.
Well, there was one account that, and I know there are some conflicting accounts, but there was one that I read that said there's never in the video where he leaves the frame and comes back multiple times. But there's never a point where a gun is taken away from him, where a weapon is removed. So I don't really know what happened with him, but I know he wasn't the only guy on his phone because the hand sanitizer guy, he got on his phone too at a different point. So it's not like it was just this person. But I also want to make another point here. Pretty much everything I've read since this has happened is that the officers have talked about, well, we tried to breach the door and couldn't. But every account says that door was unlocked. When they finally tried to get in, it was unlocked. So what are we doing here?
Did you not even try is what I'm saying.
Yeah, did you not reach for the handle? And I know the guy shot through the door. Well, sorry.
And how we forgot.
There are kids in there.
A mom did go in. She was eventually.
Not that class, but did
not
go in.
That
she
class,
went to the school.
But into the school. And again.
And then they harassed her after the fact.
Well, they arrested her before.
Yeah, they drove by her house multiple times, apparently.
Right. The whole thing is nasty and it's terrible. And we obviously need to, we'll let the authorities judge it, but it's pretty easy to judge what you see. But the mayor needs to stop picking fights with other people and start focusing on how he can fix a problem in his town.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Guys, I want to talk to you for a minute, man to man, about erectile dysfunction and PE. How are you doing in the bedroom? Are you still the man you used to be? Or are you feeling the disappointment of ED? Are you experiencing the embarrassment of PE? Happens to a lot of us. That's why you should call Paramount Men's Medical Center. Their licensed physicians can help solve your problem. They'll talk to you about ED or PE. They'll offer custom blended medications. There's no pain or surgery. And you'll see results right in the office at Paramount Men's Medical Center. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, men are now lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history. And it's affordable. So, man to man, contact Paramount Men's Medical Center now for a private consultation. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your exam is free. Call 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Donate your car to Goodwill and get 4 free tickets to Six Flags. Ride the greats like the Screaming Eagle or hang out at Hurricane Harbor. Donating a car to Goodwill is easy. Towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs, 314-752-2500 or crawfordbutts.com.
With Wholesale Formula Seminar, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hey, Enric Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar to learn how to work from home while raising my son. Today, I do $175,000 in sales per month.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Hi, I'm Hillary. Before attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was a school teacher. Today, I work from home selling products on Amazon.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired or need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how. Only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost, the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Tuesday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
If you're recently retired or nearing retirement, you've got your work cut out for you. Between soaring inflation, stock market volatility, and the threat of higher taxes, saving and investing alone won't be enough. Learn how you could overcome today's toughest retirement challenges in a one-night adult education class called Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have saved at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. This is your opportunity to learn from decades of financial planning experience. Call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 1120 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
People try to put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because.
All right, back in on the show. Chris Raji, Amy Mark, Scores, Kevin Wheeler. Now that opening line, it kind of fits into the topic here. People trying to put us down. We're always talking about the problems in the city and appearances, the reality of situation, but also how appearances matter as well. I mean, I don't know how many times we've had to talk about various issues. I mean, we've talked about the parks that are just outside us here, other things downtown that, again, create a negative image.
Yeah, the appearance that people don't care, that aren't keeping up with the city. That's why Charlie's Crusade was trash, picking up trash all over the city, because it just reflects really poorly, not only on the city, but it gives the impression like, wow, The leaders don't really have it together. The system's not working.
And you guys noticed something that I'd never noticed.
I am stunned that you did not notice this.
I don't know how you
As
didn't
much
notice.
And
time.
again, keep in mind that like for the April, May, and June, I was at the ballpark.
That's what I'm talking
like,
about. You
almost
spend
like 3-4 times a week.
When I moved back to St. Louis in 2017, and it was at some point in that summer, I was at a ball game, and I was sitting in the upper deck down the, between home plate and first base, like that area, right? And I look out and just like everybody else does, you look at the scenery. You're not looking at the field the entire time you're there. So you look around the ballpark, you look at the skyline. The Millennium Hotel, which is the cylindrical hotel that's got 2 towers.
Formerly one of the homes of the Cardinals office, what do you call it? The winter warm-up. That was the host for the winter warm-up for years.
Okay. I never went to it.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a shorter tower, which is only like, 10 stories. And then there's one that's 28 stories. The taller tower, I remember looking up at it thinking, I had a lot of fun in that hotel. We used to come down here for the Missouri Valley basketball tournament every year for Arch Madness every year. I went to Illinois State, so a bunch of friends and I would come down every year for the tournament and stayed in that hotel a number of times. And I'm looking at it, reminiscing, thinking about all the fun times I had. And I notice, hey, I think there are weeds growing out of the roof. Like I'm almost positive. And then, of course, you get a closer look. And then I remember looking I think I took a photo with my phone, and then I zoomed in on the photo and I said, yep, those are most definitely weeds.
Yes.
There are bushes growing out of, and this isn't like a garden. It's just somehow weeds have started to grow from the roof of one of the tallest buildings in the city. It's in the heart of the busiest area of downtown, and it's sitting vacant. And then on television, if you watch, there are times where they will zoom in on that, or it's in the background, and it's very, very noticeable that there are weeds growing out of a roof. Now, I understand this kind of sounds stupid. It sounds like a silly observation, or I don't even know if complaint is the right word, because I hate it. I hate that that's happened and that it's there and that nothing has been done about it, or that the building is vacant to begin with. But I don't think it is small.
No, it's not small.
I think when you see something like that, and, if you're in from out of town, or maybe you are watching the game and maybe you do happen to notice, hey, that hotel in the background, is it empty? Because there are weeds growing out of it. Like that, I think it looks really, really bad. And I can't think of another baseball stadium in the country where you look out at the skyline and there's a building prominent in the skyline, out in the outfield, where there's a bush growing out of the top of the building.
So this is something that I have noticed now for however many years. And it's one of the most distracting things. Every time I go to the ballpark, I literally stare at the weeds.
Yep.
The weeds are really prominent to me. And I think because you have certain gemstones every city has its gemstone, right? And the skyline with the arch from Busch Stadium looking out over the glory of the city that is St. Louis. And there are weeds. I know we have series of postcards they're awesome. They're super cute. It can be, here's Tower Grove Park, a little drawing, and a drawing of the arch, a drawing of Crown Candy, all of St. Louis's gems. But you could do an alternative set that would be the weeds growing out of the Millennium Hotel.
We have a Tower Grove Park growing out of the roof of the Millennium Hotel.
Sometimes I think maybe visitors will think that it's a rooftop garden.
How
big the weeds have to be to see them?
I know that,
from
right?
Busch Stadium?
I thought about that at first, like, oh, maybe that's intentional. And then I realized when I zoomed in on the photo I took that it's not. And again, I know this sounds like a silly thing, but I really don't, because the optics matter. And I think the visual matters. And if anybody does see that from, hell, if you're just from Chesterfield and you never come to the city, and the only time you ever come is for a baseball game, and you're sitting in the stands and you look up and notice that, maybe your thought process is, yep, this city is going to hell. And there's evidence of it. There's a hotel in the heart of the city, right across the street from the jewel of the city, which is Busch Stadium, and there are weeds growing out of it.
All right, so I'm going to try to ask the practical questions because, again, I basically agree with you guys. Who owns it?
It's a company in Texas.
Okay.
And it is vacant.
Yep.
And apparently they either won't sell it or won't do anything with it. It's clearly both. And it's been vacant, now, for 9 years?
Oh, yeah. It's been closed since like 2014.
It's outrageous to me that nothing has been done with that.
So whose responsibility is that?
I don't know. The city can continue to fine them for blight, which is what they're doing, basically.
Okay.
Blight.
So, like,
The
so
King
then-
James version of Chris Ranji over here.
Who can go up there to do anything about it?
Don't know.
I think with a
don't
pair
have
of
any idea.
scissors.
Can you even safely go up there at this point?
I don't know.
That's what I'm asking. I'm just
Like
asking.
in
I don't know.
Like
Like
in
it-
National Treasure, where the staircase is wooden and all the wood's rotting, and they're going up and down the staircase.
Yeah.
That would be us.
Yeah.
Trying to cut the weeds down.
Something has to be done about it. Because look, there are a lot of problems in the city, and that may not be the number one, but I still do think that aesthetics matter. I think aesthetics matter when it comes to a city and how people view it, either in the region or outside of the region. I think it just looks really bad. It reflects poorly on us. And it's just a couple of weeds.
Yeah. Well, can you? I mean, honestly, what is the solution?
Maybe we could stage a coup and go cut the weeds down at the Millennium Hotel.
Call John Bolton.
Funny you mentioned that. We got some audio about that coming up.
The voices of your morning news.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lynch.
Weather.
Thank you, weather meteorologist Dean DeVore.
Traffic.
I'm Roger Brand.
Sports.
I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals.
Your voices for morning news and information. And now,
I'm Carol Daniel.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
with more news, interviews, and in-depth story analysis.
Expanded Total Information AM.
Total Information AM 5 till 8. Expanded Total Information AM 8 till 10 on 98.7 FM, 1120 AM, and streaming on the Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Charlie Brendan. Do you have a home or a business made out of stone or brick? If so, listen up, because Morelli Tuckpointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis for 31 years. Morelli Tuckpointing can work on completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches. This time of year, people notice that their patios are somewhat cattywampus and those bricks need realignment. How about caulking, waterproofing? Morelli is a family-owned and operated business. Longtime employees there feel like family. And of course, everyone at Morelli is very proud to be a recipient of the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to local companies with exceptional customer service. Today, you can call to request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387. When it comes to bricks and stone, go to the best. Morelli Tuckpointing at MorelliTuckpointing.com.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-4400 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-4400.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
At 11:30, we've got sun and 90 degrees downtown at the Arch. Ukrainian officials say Russian missiles that struck a city in central Ukraine killed at least 21 people and wounded more than 100. Ukraine's national police said 3 missiles hit an office building and damaged residential buildings. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has been seeking support for a price cap on Russian oil that might help to bring energy costs under control and alleviate the decades-high inflation now seen in many countries. A once prominent South Carolina lawyer is now facing murder charges.
Disgraced and disbarred South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh has been charged with the mysterious deaths of his wife and son. They were found shot to death outside the family's home in 2021. Murdaugh is already jailed and facing dozens of charges involving money laundering and an addiction to painkillers. He's also accused of lying to police, trying to arrange his own death, and stealing money from clients. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Our forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson. Sunny today with a high of 95. Clear tonight, the low 74. Mix of clouds and sun tomorrow with a still hot temperature, 95 degrees. Right now it's 90 under the sun downtown at the Arch. Feels like 93. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Visit Missouri. What makes for a great vacation depends on who you ask. No matter how you like to get away, Missouri is filled with beautiful destinations and incredible experiences for you to explore. Discover the possibilities at visitmo.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis, and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We buy houses direct. If you're thinking about selling, you're not sure where you're going to go, you can sign a contract with us. We are the buyer, and we can provide a flexible closing date for you. Once we've written a contract, we can actually adjust the closing date if you need to move it up or you need to move it back. A lot of people aren't sure where they're going to move next, and we can make it easy on you. ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946, all nines.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Join me Monday mornings at 9:50 for our new feature, 5 Minutes with Number 5. And you know who that is? Albert Pujols. 5 Minutes with Number 5. Mondays at 9:50 a.m. on the Voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
All right, back another show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores. Kevin Wheeler with you here. So what we're going to talk about here is it's not really any secrets being thrown out there into the public. It's not stuff that we didn't know already, but it is kind of stunning when it's just said so casually out loud.
When it's the quiet stuff that we all kind of know.
Right. So
but then you say it.
John Bolton was on TV this week talking about January 6th, and he was talking about what, the conversation was about whether it was a coup or not. And he says no, and he was explaining, well, I've organized some coups, not here, but in other ways. I'm like, wait, stop there. And who was he with? Was it Anderson Cooper? Or no, it was Jake Tapper.
Tapper, yeah.
And the follow-up to that was so timid. Yeah. Like, I would have been like, hey, hold on, let's stop for a second. You're saying out loud on TV that you designed coups. More than one. And now we know that he's got the history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working in the government, and he's done. I mean, we all know what John Bolton's history is.
But I
didn't think we were supposed to say that stuff out loud.
You're not. And I thought what was really amusing, although I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but a lot of people were responding to that because the clip of him saying it was circulating on Twitter. And a lot of people responded with a photo of him standing there as the other guy is looking at the ballot from the 2000 election when they were all,
the hanging chads.
The hanging chads. So, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Just was a really close election. It's funny, though, because we do this stuff in other countries. And we've been doing it for a very long time. And you just kind of, we don't know about them. We don't know specifically. But you just kind of assume, like, this is what we do. Movies are made about it. And I know that just because it happens in a movie doesn't mean it happens in real life.
like clear and present danger when he says, "Sorry, Mr. President, I don't dance." We need one of those moments.
And then is that the one where he says, "Get off my plane"? Is that the same one?
I don't think
No,
so.
that's Air Force One.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But you know that we
You
are.
guys are confusing me.
You've
How are
seen
you
Clear and
confused?
Present
I've seen
Danger.
all of those
Okay.
movies. Yeah, yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
that there are. We have black ops.
Yeah.
We have
And I,
things
and
that
I
we
don't
do.
want to know about it. I want them to do whatever they need to do. Don't tell me about it.
Here's the yes, I understand the things that go on. Not naive, and I'm not sitting here mad about it or anything like that. But how do you declare a moral high ground when you're on television saying, "Oh yeah, we've done"? Here's the quote. He's like, "As somebody who has helped plan coups d'état, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did." And it was, but like, you stop at the I don't want to know it's a lot of work. I don't care. You can't. Can people who were involved in those things actually say that? So if some other world leader says, "Yeah, we took part in that coup," we can't we can't yell at them.
There was
you can't question
Just
anybody.
Keep the inside words inside and save the outside words for interviews.
It's so funny because another thing that was getting shared a lot in the aftermath of that is an Onion article. And for people who don't know, the Onion, the Onion is a satirical newspaper, and the headlines are always the joke, right? The headlines are the best. And this was actually from this month. It came out around the 4th of July, and the headline is CIA agent wishes he could brag about how well secret war with Bolivia is going. And it's almost like John Bolton's like, "Man, we did all this cool stuff I want to tell people, but I can't."
So
and then he slips up and he does anyway.
There are going to be like 3 people who appreciate this reference, but as a Golden Girls fan,
Good Lord.
I know.
You know what the show needs is more Golden Girls.
I know.
Yeah, it really
So
does.
Blanche is the one,
I think she just wrote us a letter, actually. I think one of the Golden Girls just wrote a letter to the show.
No, to our boss.
To our boss about us.
She liked me.
Well,
to an
no
extent.
kidding.
To
an extent.
She probably thinks you're neighbors.
I think the quote was, "You two are bringing me down."
I mean, that's not wrong.
At any rate, as I go on with, you guys are talking about John Bolton. So Blanche, here's the thing. Everybody knew that Blanche slept around, right? She talked about it all the time. But every now and then she would have a John Bolton moment because it was a hypothetical situation and some terrible thing. And one of the women says, "What kind of woman sleeps with her best friend's husband?" And Blanche goes, "Well, I guess it depends on the circumstance," and like starts talking about it. And then she pauses and realizes she shouldn't have said that. That was the part that you keep on the inside. That's what John Bolton was like. Well, I mean,
it was not only the ease with which he said it on television, but he was actually bragging.
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, because the point that was being made, Jake Tapper's question was something like, you don't need to be brilliant to attempt a coup." And that was the part like where Bolton's like, "Oh, I disagree with that." In fact, that's a quote. "Oh, I disagree with that," as somebody that's helpful. In other words, I'm super smart. And I thought it was hard. So you got there was so much to unpack in this whole thing. I'm really smart, and it took a lot of work for me to do it.
Look,
yeah.
I wish I could love anything as much as John Bolton loves military conflict. I would love.
I will say, you got to read his book, The Room Where It Happened. It's really good. I know there were all these post-Trump books that came out. His is worth reading.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do anything that.
Go. You're saying you don't want to give him money?
That's what you're working
That's
about.
not what I'm talking about.
You don't want to give him the money.
I don't want to support a guy that's like, "Yeah, look, I did lots
Go
of
to the
coups.
library, Kevin.
We did coups
Here's the
every
thing.
weekend back in my day."
They've been doing coups for a long time.
I know. I'm with you. I mean, I get it. I know history. I understand. But man, you don't get to come out and say it.
Do you
imagine showing up to the office with a couple of cups of coffee that you went to Starbucks, like, "Doing any coups today?"
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
Doing some coups?
I got an 11 a.m. coup, and then I got the afternoon. I'm gonna go golfing. I'm free.
Afternoon coup.
But
I also want
on a somewhat serious note.
Yes.
Not super serious, but somewhat. How do you say that you have the moral high ground over other countries when you have people that are just out there admitting that you're influencing other nations by inciting coups? Like, how do you say country X, we don't like what you're doing, that's not okay, but we're gonna do it?
That's why I'm never really comfortable with the idea of like, this is the greatest nation and everything we do is perfect and every nation wishes they could be us. There are a lot of really great things about this country. There are also some kind of slimy things about it too. And I think it's okay to recognize that. That's
Guys.
okay. Like
Good.
there is no perfect country out there. And I think we're pretty darn good, but we do some stuff too that really could be criticized and should be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go all Jack Nicholson, like, you need me on this wall.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If there's going to be a hegemonic power, if there's going to be someone
Who's a what's it?
with all the
Kidding,
power.
kidding.
Okay, sorry.
Kidding.
No, he's not. He really wants to know.
I don't know what you mean, but go ahead.
I know that word in French, but what's English?
I'm gonna answer minute.
So if there's going to be a country with strong military power and might and throws its weight around, I guess I'll be the one saying I'd rather it be the United States than communist China or Vladimir Putin in Russia.
Sure.
And I'm not saying it
But
makes
we think that because we are that, though.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't think the scales for the moral high ground, are we going to categorize it to coups and interfering in other politics? Or are we going to categorize it by the freedom of the individual? And I think no one would argue that the United States has more freedom and rights for the individual than those being oppressed by communist China. And that's where
it's not a very high bar, though.
No, but it's
in
not
China.
But you understand how there's a reason why so many people from all over the world are trying to get to the United States.
Sure, look, we all agree with that. And what I'm saying is as just like we were talking about with the topic about the weeds on top of the Millennium Hotel, appearance matters. And to a lot of people,
yes,
we're sitting here saying, oh, yeah, hey, don't just go invade other countries. And others are going, but didn't you guys do that? Didn't you guys do that 20 years ago? And I'm not talking about Afghanistan. They're talking about Iraq. And I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying that the appearances do make a difference.
But so do meaningful distinctions, because I think we could all agree Bill Clinton was not perfect. And Bill Clinton lied. We say, you know who else lied? Joseph Stalin. So you tell me, how is Bill Clinton any better than Joseph Stalin?
I don't think anybody's saying that. I'm saying I think that sometimes we pretend like everything we do is on the up and up and everything we do is just. And I think that's a not a good way to look at stuff because it's not
and by the way,
necessarily true.
A lot of what we're talking about here with these influence efforts in other countries have backfired on us.
Oh, sure.
And have caused massive problems, for example, in the Middle East from our meddling 70, 80 years ago. So, and even if it's not the only cause, it's certainly a major contributing factor to the beginnings of a lot of these problems. And that's why I'm just like, really, we're like, okay, now we're just going to say out loud that we do coups.
That's why he should have kept it quiet, because I would not pretend to be able to understand the intricacies of the geopolitical strategizing that one has to do. And I mean, you think of all the allies and think of some alliances are with true allies and some alliances are with your enemy's enemy. How do you even keep track of all that? I couldn't keep track of, like, this were a lunch table at high school and I'm thinking, who was I friends with? And wait, am I friends
who should
with,
not sit together at the wedding?
Who should not sit together? And then am I friends with her because she hates Judy?
and that's why I'm a little uncomfortable, even though I have been critical of Biden's visit with Saudi Arabia. I guess there's part of us that we kind of have to. Like, can we just does it make sense for us from a political standpoint to just totally pretend like we don't need them in some way?
Right. And I think that's where a distinction would come in with the conversation, because some people said, well,
because I think it's complicated.
You should never meet with heads of horrible states. And it's like, well, sometimes you have to meet. You don't really want to grovel and ask for their oil. That's not great. But I do think there are times when you have to meet with unsavory characters.
And also keep the quiet parts quiet. Just don't brag.
Stop talking.
Hey, coups are hard and I'm really smart and I pulled them off.
Man, I slept.
New ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never woken up like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good, feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Americans are struggling, and in D.C., politicians do nothing. It's time for a fighter like Eric Schmidt. Biden's green energy policy punishing us at the pump. Eric Schmidt will fight back. Biden's big government spending sprees. Eric Schmidt will stand strong. Biden's failed agenda, driving up inflation. Eric Schmidt says no more. Fed up? Choose a fighter. Eric Schmidt, U.S. Senate. AFP Action paid for and is responsible for the content of this messaging. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AFPAction.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman. Check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
Men, if you suffer from erectile dysfunction or PE, you can call other clinics and hope for the best. Or you can experience the Paramount Men's Medical Center difference. Their licensed physicians offer treatments that have a 98% success rate, regardless of age or medical history. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Schwartz. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications with personalized care. Even men who have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And it's affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, schedule a private consultation to experience the Paramount Men's Medical Center difference. See results on your first visit guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Call 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Start your own Amazon business.
Hey everyone, Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the wholesale formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula seminar, and I'm now doing $175,000 in sales per month.
Start your Amazon business. Join Dylan Frost at the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Tuesday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at wholesaleformula.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, about 25 years ago, I turned my eye care over to Ophthalmology Associates, and since then, I've never thought of going anywhere else. Dr. Greg Birdie has guided me through LASIK surgery and the treatment of dry eye. He cares about me and my eyesight and is always looking out for my best interests, and he does the same thing for my wife and kids and sister. He's not only my doctor, but also a good friend. And you know, Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer are known as the doctor's doctors because these 4 have treated more doctors than any other practice in St. Louis. That's why they're known as the doctor's doctors. To schedule an appointment today, you need to call the doctor's doctors at 314-966-5000, or you can get more information at youridoc.com. Cataracts, glaucoma, dry eye, poor vision. Don't procrastinate. Call the doctor's doctors today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Your hosts and their guests will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Learn to swim this summer and stay cool with Swim On Foundation through group and private lessons. Schedule today. For information, go to swimonfoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
This is the show.
The show continues on KMOX.
Teenage Wasteland. It's only Teenage Wasteland. Teenage
All right, back on the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you on a Thursday.
Sorry. Hey, guys, you know I like convenience.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much everybody loves to have some kind of convenience, right? And they don't like to be inconvenienced.
No, I think if you don't work for it, it's not worth it.
Really?
No.
So what speaking
Not
of
at all.
convenience, how do you feel about the idea of having food delivered, but not by another person? It's delivered by a robot. How do you feel about this idea?
I mean, I don't. It feels unnecessary, and it feels like one of those things that's supposed to make your life easier, but somehow makes it harder.
Well,
more complicated.
Uber is going to start doing this. Remember when Domino's had they introduced the self-driving delivery cars?
Wasn't that a massive failure?
I think so.
Okay.
But anyway, Uber is trying this out in West Hollywood. They're going to have a fleet of these robots. They look like small cars. There's not really enough room for a person to be inside the car, but it's got headlights and it just looks like this futuristic vehicle. And then you have ordered your food. You go out to the curb and you pick it up and the door opens. Like, I guess you punch in a code and then it will open up and your food will be there. You grab it and then the car goes about its business. Now, I don't know if this is any more convenient or less convenient than an actual physical person driving to your house, getting out of the car and handing it to you. But is this
The
something
fact that
that
I
you
have
feel
to
like
go
you
to the
want?
curb makes it less convenient.
That's what I think too.
The person that comes is going to is knocking it on your door.
It can't come into your, onto your porch.
And maybe you don't want to be seen. Maybe you don't want to put on pants. Maybe you have COVID. All
Yeah.
reasons why just having someone leave it on your front porch is easier.
I don't know
do
if
like
I
the
like
idea
this.
of drone though. Like a little drone comes down and they
Like
drop
the
your
Amazon
Taco
drone they were
Bell
talking
right there.
about?
Yeah. Like if you could have a Taco Bell drone, so good.
I don't know if we want more of those in the sky.
There's none of them in the sky.
Well, sure,
There's a
there
lot
are.
more cars
You
on
just
the
can't
road.
see them, Kevin, until the missile shows up.
But I'm not talking about those drones.
Oh,
ICBMs.
I'm talking about the
and
little ones
Dominoes.
that go, the ones that come in your neighborhood and they're like those.
yeah. I don't like those.
I would rather that than put another vehicle on the road.
Now, I
Especially
totally would
if it's
agree
an
with that.
autonomous vehicle that could cause me to have to go around it or whatever.
Not a fan of autonomous vehicles.
I'm not either.
Not yet. Need a lot
They
more
seem
advancement.
a little crashy to me.
They
need a lot. Yeah, need a lot. Well, are they? The question will eventually be: are they more crashy than terrible drivers?
I'd rather crash into a terrible driver than a robot car.
I would rather not
think
crash
so,
into
too.
anything.
Well, if given the choice between crashing into something and nothing, I'd pick nothing too. But I feel like, I don't know, we were talking about the other day, self-driving trucks that are going to be a thing. I don't know if Walmart is doing it. I forgot. Was it? I can't remember. I think it was Walmart, actually, that was going to have the self-driving trucks. I don't like the idea of taking work away from people.
Right.
And I don't know how many people really are employed by being drivers. And I'm not even sure that's the best form of income. But for some people, maybe it's all they have. I don't know if I like the idea of taking that away from them unless there's something to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, those are good jobs for a lot of people, man. I mean, I think that's a bigger concern to me. If you can show me that something is safe, or safer, okay, I'll buy that. I'll believe what the science is telling me. But is it enough change to be like, okay, and now all of these people no longer have work?
Right.
I don't know if that trade-off is worth it.
But I do know this robot's not going to eat the fries out of the bag before it gets to you.
Fair point.
Yeah. Do you know, I have never used a food service delivery other than like when I was a teenager and you'd
Calling for
order
pizza?
emos. Yeah. But I've never used a Uber Eats or a DoorDash.
Really?
I don't like it.
I almost never do because I would rather go pick it up.
Yes. I'm going to go get it. I want it now. I'll go get it myself.
It's close enough. If it's 5 minutes away or less,
And
I'm fine.
It's me. So it's like one person. I'm going to incur so many more charges, what I mean, and cost just to have one meal delivered.
Well, there are delivery charges. I don't know what the delivery charge would be for these robots, but you don't have to tip them.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
maybe.
that.
Okay, guys, I just have to read this because Donald Trump is in like a Twitter feud with Elon Musk right now.
That sounds right.
And he was Trump was basically saying that Elon Musk is the worst and he's a fraud. And he talks about how Elon Musk came to the White House asking for help from him on all of his many subsidized projects. And this is how he described it. Whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere.
Wait a minute.
Dude,
who builds rocket ships to nowhere?
Elon Musk.
Because they just go into space and come right back. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
It's kind of true.
I literally laughed out loud. Electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere.
That man has a knack for finding the worst possible element of everything if he doesn't like it. Or if they criticize him in any way, it's like, all right, yeah, you won 12 Oscars, but what about that one time you won a Golden Globe only?
Go have fun on your rocket ship to nowhere, Elon.
He's got a point.
We thought it was over.
Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens has just resigned this afternoon.
Scandal after scandal.
Already facing a felony charge, now accused of a second felony.
Now there's more about Eric Greitens.
Former Missouri governor is now accused of spousal abuse and intimidation.
In a sworn affidavit, Eric Greitens' former wife said,
I became afraid for my safety and that of our children due to Eric's unstable and coercive behavior. Physical violence toward our children, cuffing our then 3-year-old son across the face, yanking him around by his hair, a swollen face, bleeding gums, and a loose tooth. He said Dad had hit him. I wanted to protect our children because I was afraid of what Eric would do.
scandals, felony charges, now physical abuse allegations. That's not conservative, but it's the real Eric Greitens. Paid for by Show Me Values PAC, showmevalues.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Soaring inflation, rising interest rates, stock market volatility, and higher taxes. How will these unprecedented challenges impact you and your retirement? Find out in a one-night adult education class, Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll learn how to overcome the unprecedented challenges facing the next wave of retirees. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. Learn from a fiduciary advisor with decades of financial planning experience. Register now by calling 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis.
An Odyssey station.
If you're planning to sell your St. Louis area home, now may be the best time to capture the highest sale value before the market changes. This is Debbie Monterey, and according to industry experts, the real estate market has shifted. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty agrees, and she has options to help every type of home seller because she understands that every situation is different. If you need to sell your home quickly, but you're worried about finding your next home, Gloria has your answers and solutions. Gloria has an instant cash offer program that gives you above market cash offers, no showings, no hassles, and you pick the closing date even up to a year, giving you the cash and time needed to find your next home. Call Gloria Liu and ask her about the instant cash offer guarantees or other options that will help you sell fast and for the most money. Call 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888. It's Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has the buyers.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got a sunny sky and 91 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, Iran's nuclear ambitions dominating a joint news conference between President Biden and his Israeli counterpart today in Jerusalem.
In a joint declaration with Israel, the U.S. promised to use all elements of its national power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. President Biden said he believes diplomacy is the best way to do that. But Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid openly disagreed.
The only way to stop them is to put a credible military threat on the table.
The president said the U.S. is waiting on a response from Tehran.
When that will come, I'm not certain, but we are not going to wait forever.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Washington.
Average long-term mortgage rates are up again this week and likely headed higher amid surging inflation.
Freddie Mac reports the 30-year rate rose from 5.3% last week to 5.51%. A year ago, it was 2.88%. Higher borrowing rates have cooled what was a red-hot housing market, discouraging house hunters and sending previously occupied home sales down for the fourth straight month in May. The Federal Reserve is almost certain to again raise its benchmark borrowing rate this month as it fights high inflation. Sagar Magani, Washington.
At a ceremonial signing of House Bill 3007 this morning in the Cortex Innovation District, scientists, dignitaries, and politicians gathered, including Mayor Tashara Jones.
St. Louis, I refer to as the Silicon Prairie. And with this House Bill 3007, we are strengthening that reputation and solidifying St. Louis as a leader in bioscience, healthcare, and advanced manufacturing.
Governor Mike Parson says Missouri is 4th in the United States for manufacturing facilities and 7th for tech manufacturing growth.
One of the biggest lessons we learned during the pandemic is that our economy has become too reliant on other countries to manufacture the things we need.
The $15 million grant funding for the advanced manufacturing of pharmaceutical ingredients and semiconductor computer chips is part of a $125 million state budget commitment to entrepreneurship and innovation. Social media giant Twitter is back up and running for millions of people who could not access the site earlier today. CBS News technology reporter Dan Patterson has.
Twitter went down for about 40 minutes around 8 or 8:05 Eastern time today. Users had a fairly unusual message that stated it was over capacity.
The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk. What are you doing Sunday?
Americans are rediscovering brunch, and that's boosting the popularity of Italian sparkling wines. Americans bought 40% more Prosecco last year than in 2019. According to Idaho, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 467 points, 1.5% to 30,305. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. And we've got a crash going 70 east at Adelaide. The right lane is closed. Also debris 270 going north past St. Charles Rock Road. That's got the center lanes closed. Stall 6440 west before Boone's Crossing on the right shoulder and 364 west at Bennington Place on the right shoulder.
It's going to be hot this afternoon. Still about that humid with a good deal of sunshine, a high of 95. Mainly clear for tonight, low 74. We'll keep the heat going tomorrow with intervals of clouds and sun, high again, 95. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Florissant, sun, 89 degrees. In St. Peter's, we've got sun, it's 92. And downtown at the Arch, it's mostly sunny, 91 degrees, and it feels like 94. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
12:04 on the show. Chris Raji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. This is the time of day we kind of normally circle back to the main things that we hit on earlier in the show, just as a way of understanding that not everybody listens to the whole 4 hours, and shame on you if you don't. But we know people have jobs and lives and understand that
you can listen to the radio at work
all the time.
And there's a podcast.
Yep. Oh, there is a podcast.
So every day, if you subscribe to our podcast, you can get the show downloaded on your phone automatically.
You can do that on the Odyssey app.
Yep.
You can do that on all of the third-party podcast sites.
KMOX.com. Go to KMOX.com.
Can I be completely serious? Because it sounds like hilarious, like a commercial. But I listen to KMOX non-stop. I have it on my phone. Like I use the Odyssey app so I can listen to it live. But then sometimes if we have meetings or whatever in the afternoon and then I can't hear the Glover show, I always have the podcast on. So I listen to the Glover show every day when I go for a walk or whatever I'm doing stuff in my house, like my apartment, cleaning up or whatever. I love having the podcast available because I can always listen to KMOX.
Yeah. And when you're listening live via the app, you can rewind. And I love that feature too, because usually when I'm listening, I'm gonna be like, did that person just say that? Did they just say what I think? It's
usually Kevin, right?
It's usually
That's
Kevin.
usually me.
It's usually Kevin.
Yeah. But it's because you're like so in awe, like, wow, I didn't know that.
That's correct.
Because Answer Man gave you answers.
Answer Man knew. He definitely knew.
I love that Answer Man is a real thing.
Yeah.
In our heads. And I can just see he's like the most annoying superhero of all time. He's like, Answer Man is here. And half the people on the screen just like roll their eyes.
Yeah, and the other half are like, thank you. Thank God.
That's great.
Because people need to know things.
They do.
People need answers to these questions. We obviously covered a lot of ground early. We touched on the polling numbers for President Biden and how historically bad they are.
Abysmal.
Now, kind of a different twist on that story, because obviously he's not helping himself. He's done very little here recently that would make anybody go, oh, yeah, I'll get behind that guy. Everybody's like, no, please. Even 2/3 of Democratic voters are saying, please don't run next time. Please don't run.
By the overall number, and I would understand this from the perspective of a Republican, but when you add them into the mix, it is 18% of Americans want him to run for re-election. 18% is such... That's such a crazy low number.
Right. When you have 2/3 of the people who already voted for you saying, please don't run again, that's a message.
Now,
because a lot of times we see polling that reflects the people that voted against you really hate you, and maybe you lost a little bit of your base here and there, which is kind of where you get to like the overall approval, disapproval ratings, generally speaking. This is, again, a poll of people who voted Democratic saying, we don't want you to do this again.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important number. I know he tried to spin it. He's like, yeah, but 92% said they'd still vote for me. Well, yeah, they're not going to vote for someone they don't like or someone they completely disagree with.
Right.
But they would rather vote for someone else than you.
Yeah, and then I think that's an important point, too, is that's kind of where we are right now, that even if he does run, and even though people don't really want him to, they're still going to vote for him. And I'm not saying that independents are going to end up voting for him. I would imagine he still has a pretty good chance of winning an election in 2024. If Trump runs again and is nominated, I would think his chances are decent that he wins. And that would be, by the way, that right there, that matchup is a very unpopular matchup with people. People really don't want that. Like, I know there are some people who just love Donald Trump still and always will no matter what, but that is the one matchup that is, and I shouldn't say it like that because it's not a sport.
Well,
but that is
kind of is.
That is the one election that people don't really want to have happen.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, I mean, even within the Republican Party, Trump's popularity is dropping. And the one thing we know that Trump doesn't like is he doesn't like losing, and he doesn't like being perceived as a loser. My goodness, even in the presidential election, not even just 2020, but 2016, he said, if I lose, it's because they cheated, because the election was rigged. I've heard several people propose this, but if a guy like Ron DeSantis, right, if I think he would absolutely beat Trump in a primary, but some have argued that it might be better for a guy like DeSantis to announce that he would make a run for the presidency sooner rather than later, because it gives him time to gain momentum and Trump time to realize that he's probably not going to win, at which point there's a chance Trump doesn't throw his hat in the ring, depending on the amount of momentum that a guy like DeSantis would get, which I don't think that's a bad proposition. I think there's some truth behind that if you could gain enough momentum and support for DeSantis or even a Tom Cotton, which I don't think he would nearly get the amount of support that DeSantis would get, but something to gain momentum for those guys so that Trump is maybe tempted not to throw his hat in the ring.
Well, just saw this now. I did not know this until literally like 10 seconds ago because it popped up on my trending on Twitter. New York Magazine this morning, Olivia Nuzzi has an interview with Donald Trump, who says he's already made the decision on 2024. And the tweet says, in an interview with Olivia Nuzzi, Donald Trump says it's a matter of when, not if, he'll formally announce for 2024.
So then again, and because he's Trump and he's fickle, I mean, he could change his mind. Again, if DeSantis gains momentum, I still can see him deciding not to throw his hat in the ring. He doesn't want to lose.
No, he does not want to lose. And so I will be very curious to see what sort of effect it has when he goes, because he's going to go hard after whoever else decides they want to run for president in that party. So when he starts to bash DeSantis, what kind of effect does that have on voters? Because there is a group of people that no matter what Donald Trump says, they're going to get behind it, no matter what. So I'm really curious to see what that actual effect is going to be on DeSantis if he decides.
Another story. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to follow up on that?
Just kind of following up basically on what we were saying with Joe Biden as well. Just looking at, really unpopular potential candidates, which is hilarious that, like you said, Ron, two of the most unpopular to run. There's a good chance that's who runs.
Yeah, that's they're very good chance.
That's the likely choice.
So according to a New York Times poll, 70%, maybe you said this, but 74% of Democrats do not want Biden to be the nominee in 2024. But here's a staggering number. 94% of Democrats under the age of 30 do not want Biden as the nominee. I mean, the Democratic Party has had a strong hold on young people, especially more so now. College educated young people are overwhelmingly Democrat, it seems. But for them to not want Biden, it's just the party is moving on from him, and he inspires zero confidence when he speaks. Here we are. We've got the inflation is running rampant. There's a war between Russia and Ukraine. And you don't listen to the president speak and go, I feel better. Things are going to be okay. Nobody feels that way when they're listening to Biden.
No, and again, the younger people want him to be more progressive. So it's always funny to me when I hear campaign ads, a socialist agenda. Dude's not socialist. He just isn't. Like, there are real socialists out there, and he is definitely not one of them. Another thing that we talked about earlier, and I believe very heavily in this, the stupid weeds on top of the Millennium Park Hotel downtown drive me absolutely crazy, because you could see them from inside Busch Stadium when you're sitting there watching a game. You could see them on TV if they ever zoom to the skyline in the background. I just hate it so much.
You can't see that when they're showing you the skyline.
Absolutely,
if they zoom in on that hotel, you can.
You can see it, Kevin. Absolutely.
Please,
I've seen it on a TV broadcast a number of times.
314-436-7900. I want your response on the weeds. Everyone,
yeah, I want to know that. That's exactly why I brought this up.
Not on weed.
No.
The weeds on top of the Millennium Hotel.
Yes, on top of the Millennium Hotel.
314-436-7900. Text us. We need your opinion on the weeds on the Millennium Hotel.
Are Amy and I making a big deal about nothing, or do you hate it as much as we do? Because I think it I hate it. I hate it so much.
There's a middle ground, because I agree that if people notice it, it's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as I told you guys, I've probably already been to 35 games this year, not once noticed it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
not
anything.
once. No, I know
it's crazy,
but there are a lot of people like me that are not looking for those things, just as there are a lot of people like you guys who notice everything.
But also,
you got to admit, you guys kind of fixate on small things
sometimes.
Always.
But also, Kevin, you are there for work.
Yeah.
And when you're there working, you're probably paying more attention to the field than the majority of people are paying attention.
I'm not laughing at that. Sorry, I got it. We got
it. But it's true, though. I think a lot of people are there. They're watching the game, but they're also kind of looking around.
Yeah.
You're looking at the skyline, looking at the scoreboard, looking around the crowd. I think a lot of people spend time doing that. Maybe you do less of that than most.
Probably true. Yeah, for sure. But also, I would imagine more people's eyes will linger on the better eye candy, which is the Arch, which is Ballpark Village, which is all that's happening outside the left center field area. Because if you're in some parts of the park, I don't even know if you can see the top of the Millennium based on the way the stadium is down the right field line. I think if you're anywhere on the right field side, the first base side, unless you're way up high, you probably can't see it.
Well, that's where I saw it for the first time.
Really?
I was over in that. I don't remember exactly.
Way up there? Oh, the scoreboard is out
around.
Yeah. The
scoreboard's
scoreboard's
looking around. Because I remember going, is there though? That can't be. I can't be seeing what I'm seeing.
Okay, so we got a couple of answers. One says burn the hotel down. That's from the 314.
Well, that's not feasible.
No,
but thank you.
But not a bad idea. Something along those lines. Just to
could demolish the damn thing and start over.
Yeah. Another text was, I saw them too, and they suck. 870 says, I was driving back from Illinois, getting weed, and can confirm I saw the bush up there from Highway 64.
It does. I'll tell you what. If you're driving into Illinois where weed is legal, it's a nice advertisement for it. You probably look up at the roof. You look at the roof and you go, oh yeah, I should probably get some weed while I'm in Illinois.
Do it like the old Got Milk campaign. Got weed?
Okay.
Exactly.
On my Twitter at Amy Mark Scores, I put a poll. Do you hate the weeds growing on top of the Millennium Hotel downtown? Yes, it ruins the skyline. No, who cares? Never noticed them. Those are your three options.
There you go. Again, at Amy Mark Scores.
Yes, and I tagged you two
Nice.
clowns
I'll retweet it.
and at the show KMOX.
Nice.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Equifax Inc. seeks a software engineer in St. Louis, Missouri to conceptualize solutions into user-friendly software applications, provide application-level architecture designs, and pay close attention to details. The position requires a bachelor's degree in computer science, computer information systems, or a related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent plus 5 years of experience in developing software or web applications using Java. Or alternatively, a master's degree in computer science, computer information systems, or a related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent and 3 years of experience in developing software or web applications using Java. To apply, interested candidates should submit resumes to Equifax Inc., Marianne Joy Petty, 1550 Peachtree Street, NW J42A, Atlanta, Georgia, 30309. Reference position number 10128.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold of Newbold BMW. The new all-electric BMWs are here, and it proves that you don't have to be ugly to be electric. Come and drive one of these, and you'll kick your Tesla to the curb. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
McKnight Place Assisted Living and Memory Care. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years. Features luxury accommodations and exceptional service. At McKnight Place, residents enjoy spacious apartments, walking paths through lush gardens, fine dining, engaging activities, and more. As a trusted expert in senior living, they are there for you and your family. Questions? Concerns? Call McKnight Place at 314-993-3333 or visit McKnightPlace.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED, but what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs. 314-752-2500 or CrawfordButts.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing.
I don't have any cravings.
You want to quit, but have found it impossible. This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down. Stop smoking. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 to 10 p.m. More info at markpatrickseminars.com.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX Newsroom.
I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I didn't see nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean kid ball.
Watch back in on the show, at the show KMOX on Twitter, and there you can reply to the poll that's up. So Amy tweeted it out, but you can find it at the show KMOX if you don't know how to spell Mark's Course, which is not that hard, but if you don't, it's there. But it's at Amy Mark's Course if you want to just go straight to that point on Twitter. Here's the poll. The poll is we're talking about the weeds that are growing on top of the Millennium Hotel. And the poll question goes as such: do you hate these weeds? And then the answers are yes, it ruins the skyline. No, who cares? And never noticed them. So there's three possible answers. The leader right now is yes, it's ruining the skyline.
But
it's
listen
terrible.
to this: it's 55% say yes, it ruins the skyline. 38% say never noticed them.
That's me.
7% says no, who cares? Which means if you notice them, you overwhelmingly hate them. You either haven't seen them or you hate them.
That makes total sense. I mean, right. And it's one of those deals too, where once you see something, it's in your brain.
That's exactly what happened when, for the first time, again, when I moved back in 2017. It was not the very first ball game I went to, but it was a few games in, and I noticed it looking out that direction and thought, there is no way there's a bush growing out the side of there's a bush growing out the side of a building across from Bush. Like that can't be, but it is. It's there. It's unbelievable, and I hate it so much, even though it sounds stupid.
We got a bunch of texts, and you can chime in still if you'd like. 314-436-7900. Got one from the 618 says, I've seen him on the broadcast. It drives me insane every time.
Yes,
says
thank you so
hate
much.
Weeds in the driveway cracks, let alone on hotel roofs. We have another one says, how tall is the hotel? 10 fire department ladders can reach it and spray it, maybe?
I don't know. It's 20.
Do drones have the ability to spray? That was the question from there.
Well, I don't know if they do.
Scissor hands drones could just, like
scissor hands drones, that's a thing.
What is a scissor hands?
I don't know,
drone?
just like a drone with scissors, and it goes.
Oh my God! By the way, that is 28 stories up.
It's a ways up. 314 says you would need a really long weed whacker.
I mean,
but actually, they said, but seriously, I do wish that they would repurpose it. It's such a neat architecture. That was from the 618.
They have
I'm sorry,
314.
314.
As a pot.
Yeah, it is.
It's a plant.
It is the world's most expensive
pot. Largest pot in the world. Wait, we were talking about speaking of pot, somebody says turn the weeds into weed.
Well,
that was a texter from the 314.
I mean, you could try to smoke it. I would not recommend, by the way, if you're listening, I do not recommend scaling the building to cut the weeds down yourself or whatever. Don't do it.
You're Professor Chaos because you think of horrible ideas that nobody else would do or think of, and then you ask people not to do it. Deep down,
you're subliminally saying do it.
That's not. No, I'm saying don't. I'm very explicitly saying do not try to climb the Millennium Hotel.
Couple other texts. One from the 314 says, "Come on, it's the STL. Think of it as downtown's vacant lot."
No,
oh man. Do
Representative.
you guys remember when Ballpark Village was that? Like it was the hole in the ground for how long it is, and now obviously it's amazing. So you could do something with this area. It wouldn't be very hard. Like I don't think it should be just about let's get rid of the weeds. I mean, of course, yes, let's get rid of it, but let's do something with that.
Yes, I think that's really, it's just a signifier of a place that is in a very good part of the city and nothing is being done. Literally nothing. In fact, maybe you guys can help me on this. I believe somebody is there. Like, I know it's vacant, but isn't there a security person who works there? Like, has to be there all the time?
No idea.
Because I was thinking about this earlier. Like, imagine that is your security job, is that you're in a hotel that's empty.
So
that would be the creepiest thing in the world.
Giant vacant buildings are really creepy. Do you know how like the old Macy's building is empty, except there were a few offices there, and one of my friends had an office in the old Macy's building, and he said, have you ever been to the basement? It's super creepy. So we went down to the basement.
Wait, the Macy's building downtown. Oh, so you're talking like St. Louis Center, the old mall or whatever it used to be.
All I know is the old Macy's building. Yeah, that has offices or did have offices.
It used to be Famous Bar, and then I think it turned into a Macy's.
And we went down in the basement, and Macy's had left a bunch of stuff there. And I guess the year they closed is when Puff Daddy came out with his cologne, because there was like it was just like old mannequins and boxes and then this giant cutout of Puff Daddy.
Yes. That's awesome.
All right. So we're idiots apparently. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, well, I was going to read that text.
You want to read it?
It says, ride the elevator to the top floor, walk up one flight of stairs, then a shorthand ladder takes you through the roof, hatch up to the roof hatch up to the roof. You people are a bunch of idiots.
Spoken like the security guard who works there.
Yeah, well, I can't just walk into the building.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that in a building that's been vacant since 2014, the elevator's running perfectly fine.
Ooh.
That's a question. How much money would it take for you to get on the elevator at the Millennium Hotel and just go up 28 floors?
Without testing
right
it?
now. Yeah, just to be,
No
you
test?
walk right up, push the button if the power's on. You walk right up, you push the button, and you get on it. No testing first. How much money?
No money.
Really?
No money.
I'd
That's a long fall if you get up there.
I'd
and
do
it's
it
not
for.
working.
I'd do it for a few $1,000s.
Let's go.
A few thousand?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my checkbook.
Okay, Ben Fredrickson, one of my favorite writers of the Post-Dispatch, he chimed in on Twitter and said, "No option for those who like the all-natural look. Rigged poll."
Dude,
Ben Fred's the best. I love Ben Fred.
The building is on the way to looking like I Am Legend. Like, do you remember the downtown New York where all the plants and the ivy and the weeds are growing up the building? That's where it's.
I will
it's
say
headed.
though, the more votes we're getting in the poll, the more we're getting the pull towards never noticed them. So right now we're at 46% saying yes, it ruins the skyline, 7.5% saying no, who cares, they don't hate them, and then 47% have never noticed them. Those are my people.
Did you hear what Glover said?
Every day, of course, new studies, new surveys, new this, new that. And it's all about gut health, which is now the most important thing in the world. It's not just about what you eat, it's about when you eat it. And I just about had a meltdown. And I think you guys will get this. But don't you yearn sometimes for the days of like grandma made an apple pie out of lard and you just eat it?
Right.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm just so tired of the minutia about life.
The Dave Glover Show. Weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
Spark Co-working St. Louis is a new collaborative workspace located within the PwC Pennant Building in Ballpark Village. The Spark Co-working community supports the thriving St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within one district. The all-inclusive workspace includes furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadium, city, and arch views, concierge mail service, nitro cold brew coffee on tap, and so much more. Call 314-278-5297 or visit spark-stl.com.
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
At 12:30, we've got some clouds and 93 degrees downtown at the Arch. Ukrainian Emergency Service says 21 people, including 3 children, were found dead after Russian missiles struck an office building and damaged nearby residential buildings in a city located southwest of the capital, Kyiv. The missile strike ignited a fire that expanded to engulf 50 cars in the parking lot. Despite extensive damage, there is some good news to report from flash flooding in southwestern Virginia.
Authorities in the remote, rugged mountains of far southwestern Virginia say the 44 people reported missing after flash flooding are safe. Eric Breeding is Chief Deputy of the Buchanan County Sheriff's Department.
We are happy to report that 0 people are unaccounted for in the impact area. We also happy to report we are at 0 fatalities during this flooding incident.
As many as 150 homes have been destroyed in the area that was ravaged by flash flooding just a year ago. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
We've got some debris on 270 going north past St. Charles Rock Road. It's got the center lane closed. A crash on 70 East at Adelaide. The right lane still closed. A stall to watch out for 64 West before Boone's Crossing on the right shoulder. And our forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson. Mostly sunny today with a high of 95. Clear overnight, the low 74. Mix of clouds and sun tomorrow. Still hot with a high of 95. It's 93 at the moment. Feels like 94 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Call Zero Res today and ask for the DGS special. This month, Zero Res of STL is offering a 3-room special starting at just $119 and $75 off air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman at ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct. If you're thinking about selling, but you're not sure where you're going to go after you sign a contract with a buyer, if you sell to us, we can provide a flexible closing date for you. And once we've written a contract, we can actually adjust the closing date if you need to move it up or you need to move it back at any time. Find us at ClaymanGroup.com and simplify your sale by closing on your timeline. KLAMEN Group.com.
Biden and the radical left that controls Congress broke the national bank. They unleashed the inflation monster, which broke into our homes and smashed our family piggy banks. Bidenflation now costs you $460 more every month. It's a Biden failure tax that hits the poor and middle class hardest. Our Congressman, Blaine Luetkemeyer, is fighting to fix what Biden broke.
We can get America back on track. First, we have to stop Biden's runaway spending of money we don't have to bring down inflation. We have to end Biden's war on American energy and return to energy independence. That will bring down gas prices, and we build that wall and re-secure the border.
Our Congressman, Blaine Luetkemeyer, is fighting to fix what Biden broke. Blaine Luetkemeyer is one of us, leading for us.
I'm Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
It's the Cards and Dodgers tonight. Ameren pregame show 5:20. First pitch 6:15 on KMOX and streaming on KMOX.com.
The pitch by Ueno. Albert is hit high and deep. A home run for Harrison Bader. Yadier Molina has homered. Double play. It's a big fly for Albert Pujols. A home run in the first inning for Goldie.
This is the Redbirds Report.
All right, we got Cardinals talk coming your way in a couple of seconds. Ron's we got one more text on the hotel weeds.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
I can't
From
either.
a 314, this person says, I've never noticed the weeds, and Drone Scissorhands is playing at the pageant on Friday, by the way.
I bet that, you know what? They are, and their opener is Road Rash.
Road Rash is actually a real band.
I
I didn't know
know.
this. We discovered this.
Wow.
Raj.
I made
she
up
made
that
it up
name.
as a joke, but it actually exists. They're a speed metal band that looks like a parody, but I don't think they are.
It would have to be.
They look like a parody, though, but I don't think they really are.
That's amazing.
We'll update our poll a little bit later on, but right now, yes, It Ruins the Skyline is barely leading the Never Noticed the Weeds before. And you can find that at the show KMOX. All right, last night at the old ballpark wasn't fun. Well, the first 6 innings were fun.
Sure.
Cardinals were up 6-0 going into the 7th inning. And all year long, we've talked about how great the bullpen has been. And it has been when you have your main guys lined up. Unfortunately, though, 2 of your main guys were a part of blowing that lead last night. Genesis Cabrera and Giovanni Gallegos. Those are 2 of your big 3 all season long. And those 2 combined to give up 4 runs in an inning and 2/3. So that's not great. The bullpen yesterday gave up 7 runs in 3 innings of work. And it's a bit of a problem. And one of the things that's fascinating to me about this time of year, Ranj, is bullpen usage is such a difficult thing to wrap your head around because some days there are players available and we, the public, don't know that in advance of the game because the team's not going to advertise that.
Right.
They're not going to tell their opponent, hey, Jordan Hicks isn't going to pitch today. Hey, Ryan Helsley isn't going to pitch today, but those guys need a day off. So you run into what they did yesterday, which is Waino was only able to go 5 1/3 through a lot of pitches, 114 pitches, I think. And then you got to the bullpen early. And maybe a second guess would be, why didn't Packy Naughton stay in for more than, 8 pitches? Maybe he could have stayed in the game after that. But the real truth is that when you have guys like Verhagen and Cabrera and Fernandez and Gallegos, they need to be able to get people out, man. I mean, they're major league pitchers. They need to be able to do the job when other guys need a day.
And it could be a thing. Look, I mean, there could be a number of things going on here. One of them could just be this is a blip and they're playing the Dodgers and the Dodgers are really good. And that kind of thing can happen. Another effect that we could be seeing, and I think it'll really take a couple of weeks or more before you know for sure if this is the deal, but maybe the workload of the bullpen is starting to catch up a little bit because the starters are not going deep enough. And I know that was something they desperately wanted. Ali Marmol talked about it last night, wanted length from the starter in the game, and it didn't really happen. So, I don't know if that's what's going on here, but it certainly could potentially explain it. But I do know this, the game before, when they had the lead and they nearly blew the lead, but they were able to hang on to it and win. Remember how I told you that I was this close to abandoning the game because I thought, it's a comfortable lead. They're okay. Not going to worry about this. And I was going to go watch Better Call Saul. Last night, I purposely did not even have that thought because you never know. They were up 6-0, and I'm like, I should probably stick around. And then it became a game, and of course, we know what the outcome was. And that one stinks because you could argue it's the worst loss of the year.
I would say so when you're up 6-0 on the Dodgers and you're facing a guy coming in. We talked about Tony Gonsolin yesterday. Coming into the game, he's got a 1.62 ERA, and you put up 5 runs on him alone, and then you add another one on top of that. Blowing a 6-run lead will always make things sting more than they otherwise would have. Like a normal game in this, like if it was a back and forth for 9 innings, it wouldn't have the same feel as leading 6-0 going into the 7th and blowing the lead. And one of the reactions I was seeing a good bit of last night from Cardinals fans was, why can't Helsley needs to toughen up and be in there? And I'm like, okay,
he was in 3 out of 4 days.
That's the problem. And you can say they need to be every day for these big games. And then if the guy burns out in August or September, then you're done anyway.
Right.
You've got to have it. And keep in mind, his career high innings pitched in the major leagues is 47 innings. That was last year. He's at 38 now. He's trending towards 72, 73, 74 innings of work. So he's already surging way past anything he's done at the major league level. And I know in the minor leagues he worked as a starter. That was a long time ago. And he was also injured for part of last year, coming off the knee surgery. So the last thing you want to do is potentially sacrifice weeks or a month on the injured list to win a game now. I mean, it doesn't mean that all the other decisions were done in the way that you or I would have done them. Like I said, maybe Packy Naughton could have stayed in there a little bit longer. And a lot of people are mad about Drew Verhagen being on the roster, and I can understand that. He's got a 7 ERA, 6.86 ERA. He's not getting the job done. And at some point, maybe soon, they're going to have to make a decision on him like they did with the guy they just released, Nick Whitgren. They already got rid of Whitgren. I think you're facing that with McFarland, too. I mean, they barely used the guy because he's been terrible. Well, if you can't use them, then move them on, because Zach Thompson was pretty good, and now he's back at Memphis. Of course, he's back there to work as a starter and stretch out in case they want him to start. But, I mean, I think that there are valid questions here, not about who was used last night, but whether or not those guys should be there at all at this moment.
I do think arguing and complaining about the day-to-day it really loses sight of the bigger picture, and the bigger problem is a personnel issue. They don't have, at least at this moment, they don't have enough good bodies. Like, they need more. They need more arms.
You think? Or do you think they just need more stabilization in the rotation so that...
Well, that's part of what I'm talking
Hicks,
about.
Gallegos, Helsley, Cabrera. And think about how much better that pen is if Palante's there instead of filling a rotation spot, right? I mean, you could have 5 or 6 really
So
good
that's-
relief pitchers. You definitely need the innings to come from the rotation.
I'm not really talking about the bullpen lack.
I see.
I mean, the rotation affects everything.
Yeah.
If your rotation's not giving you length, then you've got all kinds of issues in the bullpen because they have to come into the game sooner.
Yep.
And then you're using guys you don't really want to use on certain nights. So that's really what it comes down to. You have to have the innings, but the reality is right now, especially with the Flaherty injury and the fact they haven't had him for all year, except for 3 starts they've gotten out of him, and Steven Matz has been absent for this entire time too. Like, they just don't have enough bodies out there. They need more length out of the starters.
So the Cardinals obviously struggling right now. One of the worst, if not the worst loss of the season last night, under 500, 4-6 in the last 10 games. And the NL Central is not good. They're still in a playoff race. Like, they're still, trying to go in a playoff race. This is a philosophical question for you guys. Have you ever had a team or seen a team make it to the playoffs and yet you feel like they don't deserve to be in the playoffs? Because technically, if you're using technicalities and the fact that they made it to the playoffs, well, obviously they did enough to get there. But have you ever felt like a team like, man, even if they make it, they don't deserve it?
That's how people talked about the 2006 Cardinals.
Right. Because
when they were there, they
and
were
Detroit.
supposed they were supposed to lose to the Mets. They were supposed to lose to the Padres, and there was one.
Or Texas, sorry.
And I forget who it was, but one of the national baseball writers in 2006 picked Detroit in 3 in a 7-game series, right? Like, so
They were good.
They were saying it was such a big difference that they don't even need to win the 4th game. It was a smart-assy thing, and obviously the Cardinals beat all of those teams and won the World Series. So, and they were an 83-win team, so that would define what. Now we all know from knowing the team, they were better than that.
But that's
a lot of
what I mean.
injuries
That's-
too throughout the year,
But
and then they
that's-
got healthy.
That's the key. Like, you knew they were better than that. Have you ever had a team make it to the playoffs and think this is almost a fluke? Because I don't think they're this
I'm
good.
sure it's happened. I just can't remember it.
Yeah, I
like
mean-
there's nothing off the top of my head.
Well, in the divisional format, you're always going to have it's always a possibility because some divisions stink.
Right.
Like the Central. And like look at the American League East.
Right.
Every team is a winning team. The Orioles have a 10-game winning streak. They're over 500. 5 teams over 500. Every one of those teams, including, like, say, Toronto just fired their manager. If that team played in the NL Central, they'd probably have a 600 winning percentage because of all the games that they play. Again, when you think about how many games are in your division, and you say, well, I'm going to play all those against Pittsburgh and Chicago and Cincinnati and either St. Louis or Milwaukee. If you swapped Toronto out for one of them, well, now they've got to play the Yankees, the best team in baseball, the Rays, the Red Sox, and the Orioles, and they're all winning teams.
Even Baltimore over 500 is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it, again, may not stay that way, but
it probably won't.
And this
But
is
this deep in the year to be in the middle of, and I know the season
It's a good
started a
question,
week
though,
late,
Amy.
but like mid-July in Baltimore is over 500. Good for them. Yeah, I mean, really happy for them.
Yeah, and when we're looking at this setup, I mean, this is clearly a year to take advantage of, in my opinion. Not just because it's the last run for Albert and Yachty and maybe Waino. Not just because, Goldie and Arenado are playing great and you want to maximize their peak years, but because there's a lot of wins out there when you're in this division. And, to waste that opportunity, because in a couple of years, Cubs could be good if they decide to spend some money.
Right.
I mean, the Reds can be good at times. The Pirates are Pirates, but it's not hard to envision this division being tougher in the future. Taking advantage of an opportunity now would seem to be the wise thing, especially since Milwaukee hasn't been any better than you. I mean, they're 2 games better than you in the standings, but the reality is they are you. They have different problems, but they have the same number of problems.
You have Arenado now. You have Goldschmidt now. You have Wainwright now. Like, that's, to me, so when you're talking about taking advantage of what you have, you don't go get Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt over the last few years if you're not really trying to go for it. So whatever is available to them prior to the deadline, I hope they do something that's significant.
Couple of texts on this, 314-436-7900. We had a texter in the 314 said, why did James Nail get sent back down? Because they had players coming off the injured list and he has options and he can go back down very easily. It doesn't mean it's the good answer because he pitched better when he was here than Drew Verhagen has. Of course, Verhagen, though, has the major league contract, and I believe he got a 2-year contract. So It's not the same as like Whitgren, where it's a 1-year deal and you can kick him off to the curb and don't have to worry about it next year. Got another texter said about the pitchers who pitch every day. He said, yeah, but to be fair, a lot of older fans see a Bruce Sutter back in the day go 6, 7, even 8 days pitching in the same stretch. I would be willing to bet you that never happened.
8 days in a row.
I mean, he never pitched more than 70 games in a year.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever pitched 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row.
No.
But they did work more then, and they worked more innings then, because Sutter was routinely 100 innings or more. So that part definitely is a big deal. All right, coming up next. Hey, Ranj, Amy, what happened to the Gap? I don't know. Somebody asked that question.
Oh, the Gap.
Store. Yeah, the store.
I thought you meant the Gap where the weeds were growing out of the hotel.
With wholesale formula seminars, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula seminar, and I'm now doing $175,000 in sales per month.
Hey, everyone. Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the Wholesale Formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
Hey, Emric Mandello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost, the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar, Tuesday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Join Yadier Molina and your favorite Cardinals players at the Flavors of Puerto Rico charity dinner on Monday, August 15th at the Chase Park Plaza. You can enjoy rum-based cocktails and dinner prepared by one of Puerto Rico's celebrity chefs. The event benefits Foundation for Yadi's Foundation, which raises funds for underprivileged kids in St. Louis and Puerto Rico. For tickets or to sponsor, visit YadierMolina4.com or send an email to info@YadierMolina4.com for more information. You can also check the events page at KMOX.com/events.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
We thought it was over.
Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens has just resigned this afternoon.
Scandal after scandal.
Already facing a felony charge, now accused of a second felony.
Now there's more about Eric Greitens.
Former Missouri governor is now accused of spousal abuse and intimidation.
In a sworn affidavit, Eric Greitens' former wife said,
I became afraid for my safety and that of our children due to Eric's unstable and coercive behavior. Physical violence toward our children, cuffing our then 3-year-old son across the face, yanking him around by his hair, a swollen face, bleeding gums, and a loose tooth. He said Dad had hit him. I wanted to protect our children because I was afraid of what Eric would do.
Scandals, felony charges, now physical abuse allegations. That's not conservative, but it's the real Eric Greitens. Paid for by Show Me Values PAC, showmevalues.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight, or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis, and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Do you know that one of the health benefits of swimming lessons is burning more calories than jogging while providing ease on your joints? SwimOnFoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444. They're back.
Three best friends. Yeah, the three amigos. Yeah.
Kevin, Chris, and Amy. The show.
They call me the seeker. I've been searching low and high.
All right, so I wasn't really looking for this story that I ran across last night, but I saw it and I thought, this is a really dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not. I'm going to run it by you guys. So the headline of the story on CNN was, what happened to the Gap? And I'm like, doesn't that sound like, hey, guys, what happened to the dinosaurs? Hey, guys, what happened to Radio Shack? What happened to Blockbuster? What happened was
all of those asteroids.
Yeah. I mean, like, what kind of dumbass questions that what happened to the mall store that used to be cool but isn't anymore? I don't know. Maybe they didn't adapt with the times like every other business that's got kicked in the groin by the internet and Amazon. I mean, come on.
First of all, I got a couple of thoughts here. Number one, I saw the same headline and I didn't think it said heck. I thought it said what the blank, like the word happened to the Gap. And I thought, wow, CNN. Okay. But
somebody's really upset about their
really,
chinos.
like, what the?
Anyway, little projection on your part too.
That's where my brain is.
That's my default as well.
The other thing I thought is, what do you mean, where's the Gap? It's still there and it's still thriving. I've been by the Gap many, many times.
And here's the thing.
But they have the same, by the Gap, I feel like, and I'll go in there occasionally. And the reason I go in is to check to see if there's anything different. I swear to you, the Gap is selling the exact same clothing items for the last 15 years. Yes. Like, nothing's different. The shirts are the same patterns. The jackets are the same. The pants, everything is exactly the same as it was 15 years ago.
Including the 40% off sale signs that are always in the window.
Everything's 40%
all
off
the time.
every day.
That's a good deal, right?
Right.
It is, but like online in the store. And so literally, if you're not getting 40% off at the Gap, you're getting ripped off. Also, if the Gap is going out of business, maybe it's because everything is always 40% off.
Have you ever found a clothing item that you liked so much, you're like, I'm going to get 2 of these just so I have it
all
in
the time.
case, right?
Yeah.
All the
You
time.
don't have to do that with a Gap because in 10 years, they're all the same stuff is still going to be there.
I mean,
you have to worry about it.
That's what was making, but it really is kind of along the lines of why I'm like, why is this even a story? Like, what happened to them? They never adapted to anything. They're still selling jean jackets and big old goofy looking mom jeans.
And the thing is, okay, that was a little personal. I love the mom jeans.
If mom jeans were a person, it'd be you.
But in the 80s, guys had mom jeans too.
But what's funny about the Gap?
No, the 90s. Sorry, the 90s was when we had the big baggies.
Yeah. Because, dad jeans, because what Obama wore.
That was me.
Yeah.
I had dad jeans when I was 20.
So, to Ranji's point about the stuff being the same, I feel like you could take something that you purchased 10 years ago from the Gap and bring it back to the store to return and say, I bought this last week. And then the person working the register would look at you and you look at them and it would just be a stare down because you realize you can't prove it, but they can't prove otherwise because it's kind of the same thing.
Yep.
Well, seriously, you've been to a Gap lately?
Kevin, I love malls. We've talked about this. I love going to the mall.
That's another part of the reason why the question's dumb, right? Because malls are all falling apart all over the place.
They are not.
The
they are
Galleria
great.
is thriving. I go there all the time.
And you've been to Chesterfield Mall?
And West County's great. Well, Chesterfield.
Because pickleball has replaced stores.
So Chesterfield Mall is
and
sad.
Macy's is still there.
Dancing has replaced the food court.
It's very sad. The Chesterfield Mall is sad because I spent so much time at Chesterfield Mall growing up. Do you remember Pretzel Time? And they had all the Cokes with the flavoring. And it was my goal. I was like 4 years old to try every flavored Coke at Pretzel Time. I loved Pretzel Time.
I don't remember Pretzel Time because I'm not a big pretzel person.
Did you go to Chesterfield Mall?
Absolutely.
Right,
My
that's a
grandmother
long
used to
drive.
live in Baldwin, so that was the mall that we would go to if I stayed at grandma's.
I go there somewhat regularly, but I go to a movie or I go to the Cheesecake Factory, and that's pretty much it.
There was a pasta house.
There's a Macy's still there, though.
Mhm.
Oh, I love Macy's.
I don't like Macy's.
There was a pasta house at Chesterfield Mall, and across from it was the pet store, which I know is terrible.
yeah.
But as a kid, while you put your name in at the pasta house, you could go and look
That's
at
right.
the pets at the pet store.
See the puppies.
And believe it or not, that is how we got our first puppy.
Oh, that's so
we
adorable.
were waiting for a reservation at the pasta house, and Tucker was, like the Gap, 40% off. And we got him, which I know you're not supposed to, but
And
he was
also, I
meant
was
to
going to
be
say,
our
also
dog.
PSA, don't do that.
I know, but he was meant to be our
modern
dog.
times, don't do that.
He was on sale. You know what I mean?
The
Like
dog was on sale. We
Yeah,
got you.
because he was
exactly
so
the
old.
problem.
It would be great if you could explain to your pet, yeah, you were on sale.
Yeah,
That's why we got
Because
you.
he was 4 months old.
A lot of these stores, by the way, if you're wondering about storefronts, like, it's all online shopping, which is true. It is. But a lot of these stores that are on, like, say, Michigan Avenue or in the mall, they see that as a living billboard. Because what they want you to do is see the stuff and then maybe go home and buy it online. And a lot of people do that.
Did not know.
Yeah.
I haven't shopped Gap in
You don't look like a
20
guy who
years?
shops a lot.
No, I buy. I know what I want. I just go
He's
get
not a
it.
shopper. He just buys.
I just order stuff.
The following is a commercial announcement.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need, and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money, simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The Biz Dash is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, company, team bonding, and fun. All levels of runners and walkers welcome. Thursday, September 22nd at Centene Stadium in downtown St. Louis. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Recent impacts with inflation, ongoing COVID concerns, and geopolitical conflict have us all and the markets on edge. Heisey Advisory Group understands the importance of having a customized strategy for retirement, especially during uncertain times, to help ensure these concerns don't have an impact on your retirement. Heisey Advisory Group is a St. Louis-based, family-owned and operated holistic retirement planning firm. Our team has defined a process that puts together all the pieces of the financial puzzle, working with all of your service providers to help develop an individualized plan that grows with you as your life changes and your needs evolve. If you're not confident that your retirement plan is on track to deliver the lifestyle you want amid historic levels of uncertainty, call us today at 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
An Odyssey station. I'm Listening reminds you that talk saves lives, and 988 makes it even easier to reach out and talk. 988 is just like 911 for emergency services. 988 connects you with trained counselors in over 200 crisis centers nationwide. Find out more at imlistening.org.
I'm Nick Schroer. The woke left is trying to destroy America by taking away our rights, defunding the police, and indoctrinating our children into socialists. This is not the America our founding fathers envisioned. I'm fighting them, and with your help, we can take America back. I backed the blue 100% and fought to give police the tools they need to keep our families safe. I helped pass the Second Amendment Preservation Act to ensure Joe Biden and his cronies can't take guns away from law-abiding citizens. And last year, I opposed raising the gas tax.
Nick Schroer sponsored Missouri's pro-life trigger law, ensuring we would be the first state in the country to ban abortions after Roe v. Wade was overturned. He sponsored the Parents' Bill of Rights, which would ban radical ideologies like critical race theory in our schools. And as our state senator, Nick Schroer will protect girls' sports from boys who want to pretend to be girls. Nick Schroer, an American First conservative, paid for by friends of Nick Schroer.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
1 o'clock, it's a partly cloudy sky, 93 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. President Biden and Israel's prime minister agree on their goal with Iran, but differ on how to make it happen.
In Jerusalem, we will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. We cannot allow Iran to become nuclear.
But the president and Yair Lapid split from there. The U.S. is waiting for Iran to respond about a path toward rejoining a deal aimed at keeping it from building a nuclear weapon.
When that will come, I'm not certain.
The president says he won't wait forever. Meantime, Lapid says diplomacy is not the path.
Words will not stop them, Mr. President.
And Iran must instead face a real threat of force if it does not back down. Tehran is warning both nations of a harsh response if they take action. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Jury selection starts Friday in the trial of the man accused of killing a retired police officer guarding a pawn shop.
This is Kevin Killeen outside Lee's Pawn Shop in North St. Louis, where retired St. Louis Police Captain David Dorn was shot and killed on the night of June 2nd, 2020, during a night of rioting and looting across St. Louis. People here at the pawn shop management saying no comment, but customers and others on the sidewalk say they remember the night well. They say Dorn should not have been killed. It's a tragedy that somebody who spent his life in police work protecting others had to die in such a senseless way.
Illinois and Wisconsin are expanding access to abortions. Planned Parenthood in the two states has formed a partnership. Planned Parenthood of Illinois CEO Jennifer Welsh.
We expected that Wisconsin would cease access to abortion care as soon as Roe fell. So we were prepared to give Wisconsin patients the care they needed.
Welsh says they've seen 10 times as many patients from Wisconsin getting abortions in Illinois since the end of Roe versus Wade. Missouri's governor says he's getting ready to go to Europe in a week.
Got some business, some companies over there that we've got a good chance of maybe kind of inking a couple of deals for our state. So we're going over to try to finalize some of that.
Carson says he's going to Germany, saying there are some companies that already have a presence in Missouri who are considering major expansions. A judge rules Steve Bannon's trial will go to trial Monday. Bannon is charged with contempt for defying the congressional committee investigating the U.S. Capitol attack. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland is at the courthouse in Washington.
Steve Bannon, the former campaign manager and White House aide to Donald Trump, will go on trial Monday morning. That's when jury selection begins at the federal courthouse down the street from the U.S. Capitol. He had argued at a hearing today that the pre-trial publicity, including his name being mentioned at January 6 committee hearings, would bias the jurors. The judge disagreed and said leave it to the jury selection process.
The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk. First, ConAgra dumped Omaha for Chicago. Now it's raising prices.
Higher prices for Hunt's tomato sauce, Slim Jim jerky, and other products made by ConAgra, starting to hurt demand. Still, the company expects additional price increases during the remainder of this year to offset rising costs. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 288 points to 30,484. And we've got a crash 370 west past 94. It's got the two right lanes closed. Debris 270 north past St. Charles Rock Road. The center lane's been blocked. Stall 44 east past Big Bend on the left shoulder.
Well, a mostly sunny sky through the afternoon. We'll get up to a high of around 95 degrees, so it will be a hot afternoon. Mainly clear sky tonight, low 74. Still hot tomorrow with some sunshine, high 95. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
And right now it's partly cloudy and 93 in Florissant, 94 in St. Peters, and 93 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
105 on the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy March Scores, Kevin Wheeler here. In case you're wondering, you've heard the Who most of the morning, not every segment, but you've heard the Who quite a bit today. So today in 1967, they started their first full North American tour. So
Who?
The Who.
I'm not going to do all that.
Stop it. Don't even go to this Abbott and Costello nonsense.
Sorry.
But that's why you're hearing the Who. Do you know? This is terrible.
You know who else heard one? Horton.
You know who else? Not Ricky, though. You don't mean Ricky, right?
I knew she'd like that.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm laughing.
the worst thing about the band The Who is like you can't attach anything to it because it also always sounds like the wrong thing. I mean, is it wrong that I didn't think that was that funny?
No, yeah, it is wrong. There's something wrong
I'm
with you.
wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know who The Who was opening for?
Who the Who was opening
who
for?
they opened for that tour? I mean, you wouldn't know off the top of your
I'm
head.
sorry.
but
Which tour are we talking about?
Their first North American
Oh.
tour.
What year was that?
67.
Wasn't the Beatles?
It was
67.
not. It was Herman's Hermits.
Oh.
Isn't that I mean, like I've done this over time. Like one of my favorite things, because I love rock concerts and rock and roll. I've always loved looking back and like when bands first got their start,
Mhm.
who they toured with, who they'd open with, because it's almost always somebody that's way less than them.
Right.
Right. Like, I mean, could you imagine being Herman's Hermits and you see the Who perform and do their thing and you're like, crap, we got to follow that?
Can you imagine naming your band Herman's Hermits?
Well, I mean, in the 1950s and 60s, probably, because they had a bunch of nerdy names back then.
Wow.
I mean,
Pretty arrogant.
did they not?
I mean, the
Like, a
Rolling
lot of those
Stones.
early, no, I know, but I mean, a lot of those early bands were weird like that.
Name another one.
The Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Cream.
Oof. The Monkeys?
That was a weird name.
Monkeys.
Monkeys with 2 E's.
Yeah. Although I don't, yeah. There were a lot of those kinds of names, like Jim and the Drummer Boys or whatever.
What?
I just felt like they were like, especially.
I'll tell you what.
Especially in the 50s, right? You had like the Big Bopper, like all these things. You're like, that's in the time. I'm sure it wasn't weird. To us now, it's weird.
If I ever start a band, I am calling them Jim and the Drummer Boys. Just because I want people to go, what are they? Who? What are they called?
You guys, I know, Ron, you probably saw the Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie.
Yeah.
You did not, Amy, I'm sure.
No, but I do love Queen.
Yeah, they're great. Well, what happened at Live Aid, right? They
Mhm.
were so good, and everybody after was like, oh, crap.
Right.
Like, we got to follow that.
Yeah.
And I forget who followed them, but it was somebody really amazing. And it was like, that's not going to be fun.
Was
How
it
do
the
we top that?
Police?
It might have been. But like, that's the crazy thing is that you see some of these acts, and like in this case, you can tell greatness when you see it, right? Very
Right.
few of these bands, when they're young, you're like, oh, they're kind of bad now, but they're going to be good down the road. Like, you're pretty much right up front going, they're good, man. And could you, I mean, like, I would not want to have been the Herman's Hermits and seeing like the Who go out there and Roger Daltrey doing his thing and be like, all right, got to top that every night, boys. We got to top that 60 times in a 3-month window. Good luck.
I think it was David Bowie that followed Queen.
Was it?
That would be difficult. But Bowie was great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Also.
But matching that energy, though, is what's
Right.
hard, right? No matter how good you
And that
are.
was, and Freddie was like very sick at the time. And I think they were doubting, were they not? Because I saw the movie a long time ago,
Yeah.
so I don't remember all the specifics, but they were doubting whether or not the performance would be any good because he was feeling so bad, and then he went out there and
Well, he was
killed
having vocal problems too.
Yeah.
He was having problems with his voice in the lead up to that. What I wanted to know, that now that we're on this topic for whatever reason, well, it's my fault, but how come we don't do any more of those cool things like Live Aid? Because that was awesome. Like, I look back at those watch
Fair.
now, and it was amazing. The mega power of all of those artists, and obviously raised like $125 million to help with famine in Africa. Now, again, there are a lot of great causes out there, a lot of things that need money. I'm surprised that we haven't continued that tradition of having these huge, even Farm Aid was
for charity,
massive, right? I mean, like, think about it. I mean, like, you look at we're talking about all of these huge bands, and the Stones were there, obviously Queen, literally everybody who was a big deal in music was there.
You still have music
like
festivals,
Madonna
but I don't
was
know.
there. I mean, it crossed all boundaries too.
You still have the music festivals, but I don't know if there are none that I can think of off the top of my head that are huge music festivals that are for charity, for the specific purpose of raising money.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I'd be okay with it for commercial purposes too. But I mean, how fun?
Yeah.
Like, I know they tried to do Woodstock again, right? Not that long ago, and it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Again, I get the idea. Just surprising to me that, like, when you look at the magnitude of all of the bands, so it was like all of the hottest bands in the world at the time, all the I shouldn't say bands, artists, because it wasn't just the rock bands that you would normally think of. I mean, it was obviously Elton John is a rock star. Madonna was there. Run DMC was there. In more of the modern bands at that time too, like Duran Duran was kind of the hot thing at the time. I would love to see something like that.
well, I believe, wasn't it Woodstock 94? I think it was.
Oh, there was one that they
there was
tried
one in
here
94,
recently.
93, and that one went over pretty well.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. I think there was one within the last few years. They tried to do it again. Maybe it was 2014.
There was a concert for Diana at Wembley in UK in 2007. That had some pretty big
Did it?
names. I mean, not that I don't know. Maybe it's because these are old timey rock bands that we somehow hold them in higher esteem. But I mean, it was like a wide range of people from Andrea Bocelli to Puff Daddy to Duran Duran.
That's an interesting group.
To Nelly Furtado, Ricky Gervais, Josh Groban, Roger Hodgson from Supertramp, Elton John, James Morrison, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, Kanye West, Pharrell Williams. So like a weird mix.
I think that would be very weird to go to a concert or to a show like that that's predominantly musicians, and now here's a comedian in the middle.
Yeah.
It's just
He
a
was the
different
host.
energy. I don't know if you'd like. I don't know if
Oh,
I
is he
would
the
like
host?
that.
Is that what that was?
I don't know.
No.
Could
Maybe.
be. Yeah, that would have been. That would actually make some sense. Just that and seeing those huge things. So those because that one was held in multiple places, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just hold the Live Aid in one spot. I mean, Wembley Stadium was full of 100,000 people or
Mhm.
whatever. And that's another thing that always is stunning to me. As the most stunning thing when I go back and watch a couple of the great documentaries about the original Woodstock is the sheer number of people.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
mind-boggling. I mean, most concerts you go to now, you're in a theater like a Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, or even if you're at Busch Stadium, it's a big crowd, but it's not like 100,000 people in this massive space like Wembley. I know there are stadium tours. I saw Guns N' Roses at the Dome, but it wasn't 100,000 people, and it wasn't full.
Nah, you can get like 70 or 80 or something, and that's a lot. If you get a big soccer stadium or a football stadium, you could fit 80 to 100,000 pretty easily if you sell it out. I always find it fascinating that we're talking about all these live shows, that arguably the biggest band in the history of rock bands is the Beatles,
Mhm.
and they only toured for 4 years, and everybody
Yeah,
knows that.
yeah.
I'm still stunned by that it was only a 4-year thing that they were on. It's almost like a Sandy Koufax career where he had that 4 years of just being amazing,
But
I'm
also
always-
just their existence. They were not around for that. They were not together
Right,
for that
right.
long. And the amount of music that they were able to write, perform,
Yeah.
put out on albums, and not just music, but iconic. The songs are iconic.
And I'm thinking about this for a number of different reasons. The Beatles came to mind. And one of them is a conversation we were having in the office before. We just talked about the Gap during the last segment, right? And
Mhm.
Amy was like, I went into an Abercrombie and
Well,
Fitch.
They don't have any brick and mortar here, so I ordered on Abercrombie and Fitch. And it was the
Okay.
first time I've ever shopped at Abercrombie in my entire life because I thought it was for teenagers who wanted to look a certain way. And I'm like,
Yes.
But I bought clothes online and it was awesome.
So here's why I'm thinking of Abercrombie and Fitch when I'm thinking about the Beatles. That Savile Row studio where they recorded Get Back, like we just watched the
Mhm,
Get Back
mhm.
documentary, that became an Abercrombie and Fitch. It was an
No.
Abercrombie and Fitch, yes, like a several story Abercrombie up until about 2019 or 2020.
I always felt
For
like,
years,
yeah,
it was an Abercrombie, which
that's
is
crazy.
madness to me.
I'm very confident I've never bought anything from there.
From Abercrombie?
Yeah.
I never had. I mean,
They used to have
literally,
cargo shorts.
Really?
Yeah.
because
Oh.
they're just like, and again, I didn't know the non-sleazy version of Abercrombie. It was just everything. It's just super sleazy.
You're
Well,
so
It was just gross. And like all I remember is like walking by Abercrombie at the mall. I'm like, who's this for? Like that's how I felt. Not me. Anyway, so I never thought I'd buy anything from Abercrombie when I was looking for a dress, and someone suggested I try Abercrombie online because there are no stores in Missouri.
when the first time I went to one in the 90s, it felt upscale, like it was dark and everything was oak. It was just like you were going into a, I don't know, a polo store or
Mhm.
Nautica or something like that.
Sleazy rich kids.
Yeah, that's
But
the way
why
it
is
felt
everything
originally.
sleazy to you?
Well, it's not everything. Abercrombie moved to I remember some of their storefront posters. I mean, were getting news attention because they were considered.
Oh, they were doing
edgy.
a lot of the shirtless.
Yeah, and
Right.
they're like teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're like,
It's
yeah.
Amy likes big pants. That's why. And then they didn't sell big pants at
Trousers.
Abercrombie.
Trousers.
Oh, trousers. Sorry.
Trousers and slacks. I'm a big fan of trousers and slacks.
That should be your rock band. Hey,
Hey,
now
there you
coming
go.
in trousers
No,
and
it'd be
slacks.
slacks and trousers.
Okay.
You have to say it that way.
Whatever.
Why?
It sounds better. Slacks and trousers versus trousers and
I
slacks.
don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, time for a break. You're listening to the show on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
With Wholesale Formula Seminar, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hey, I'm Rick Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar to learn how to work from home while raising my son. Today, I do $175,000 in sales per month.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Hi, I'm Hillary. Before attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was a school teacher. Today, I work from home selling products on Amazon.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired or need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how. Only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost, the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Tuesday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
You may have heard about the term guaranteed income, and I want to know, how does that fit into our potential retirement plan? Well, Steve All from the All Financial Group joins me right now. Steve, how does this guaranteed income come into play, especially if there's volatility in the market?
Well, I think when we start to look at volatility, it's not as detrimental to those that have guaranteed incomes. When I talk about what do I mean? Social Security, our pensions, maybe rents, those are guaranteed income. And when I start to look at people and build their portfolios, I find out how much they're spending and how much their income is. If there's a gap between those two numbers, and I can set aside a portion of their investment nest egg to make a guaranteed income that they can't outlive, a personal style pension, I think that helps people when we have the volatility of the market. During the falls at the beginning of the pandemic, my clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, it's like they're not really worried about what's happening in the market because they're not taking money out of it anyway. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck kind of comes in, and it's like their working days. So if you've got a situation where there is a gap between your income and your expenses, and guaranteeing that gap might make sense for you or added peace of mind for you, give me a call. Let's sit and talk about how we might be able to assist you with the income you're looking for in retirement.
Give a call today, 636-230-8824. Find out how that guaranteed income for life fits in your financial future, 636-230-8824. The website, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. The All Financial Group and Retirement Wealth Advisors are not affiliated. The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Nearly a century of informing, entertaining, and serving St. Louis. KMOX.
All right, it's 1:20 on the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Marscores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. So last season, coming into the baseball season, the concept of players being vaccinated was a pretty hot topic, right? It was, if teams get to a certain threshold, they can relax restrictions on movement when they're on road trips, for example, and everybody was shooting for it. Do you guys remember, Ron? Do you remember, Ron, it was 75, 80% that they were trying to get to, 85%? I don't remember.
I think it was 85.
I think it was 80, yeah.
I think that was the number, that they were all trying to get to that. And if they did, they could have relaxed restrictions. Well, they don't have any of those restrictions coming into this year, but the Toronto Blue Jays are back playing in Toronto. You might remember, people may remember, they had to play in Buffalo. They had to play in Florida at their spring training facility over these past couple of seasons because of the restrictions in Toronto, in Canada. Well, Canada still has pretty strict COVID laws. You can't enter if you're unvaccinated. They're not going to let you do it. So all of these baseball teams that have to go to Toronto, whoever is unvaccinated has to be put on the restricted list. They cannot make the trip. They cannot enter the country. Well, this is a big story for the Royals right now because the Royals are playing in Toronto this weekend, and 10 of their 26-man roster, 10 players, including 5 everyday position players, both catchers, they can't make the trip. So the Royals are going to be 10 people. Now, they can replace them. They don't have to go with 16 people to play a series, but they're bringing up essentially 10 minor leaguers so that they can field a roster for this weekend in Toronto. And obviously, it's a big story. People, I would hope, would still remember Vahe Gregorian, used to work for the Post-Dispatch, now works for the Kansas City Star. He wrote a piece today saying essentially that those guys who chose not to get vaccinated chose so to the detriment of their team, and that perhaps if you put the team first, and I'm not saying I'm advocating for this, I'm just telling you what he wrote. Essentially, and here's how it was put in a tweet. It was here's how it was. He said, vaccination might be a personal choice, but it's something more and different when it affects others. And he's talking about the team and their teammates. Now, these players have been asked about it, and they've said, hey, look, our teammates understand. They know why we did this. But 10 guys on that particular team. And other teams have had this, right?
Yep.
Yankees have a couple of guys. Red
There've
Sox
been
had a couple of guys.
Of 36 players this season, including the 10 we're talking about, who've not been able to go up to Toronto and play this year because of the vaccine
So to put
mandate.
that into perspective, up until now, a total of 26 players going to Toronto could not make, or with their teams going to Toronto. So a total of 26 across all of the teams that have gone to Toronto this year. Now there's 10 for the Royals.
That's such a huge number. And Gregorian's right about that. I know that there are people who are so anti-vaccine now, and I think the vast majority of the anti-vaccine sentiment is political. I think they're making political decisions. I don't think they're really making health decisions. These American players, by the way, and that's an important thing that we should note here, 41% of Major League Baseball players are not from the United States. They are not born in America.
Right. We're talking
so it's a
Dominican,
huge number.
Venezuela, Mexico, some Netherlands, obviously Korea, Japan,
Cuba, whatever.
Yeah.
But 94% of the players who have not been able to go to Toronto this year and play are Americans. So it's pretty good evidence, if you're reading between the lines here, that this is very much a political thing. This is politics for a lot of these guys who choose not to do it. Not all of them, but you do hear, I don't want to put anything in my body that I don't know what it is, which is nonsense coming from an athlete. Because you know how often athletes put stuff in their bodies that they don't really know what is in it? That's why some of them test positive.
We had the steroid era.
Right. And now even they're using supplements that they don't know what's in the supplements. And sometimes the supplement gets them suspended for performance-enhancing drug use. So this isn't about health, and you are putting your team at a disadvantage. And it bums me out that we are still here for so many people, that they refuse to do a very simple thing. And now it's compounded because you've got players who are, and I know it's the Kansas City Royals, and they're not particularly good or anything, but still, the rest of the team is counting on you to be there, and you can't because you're making a political choice.
It's interesting that there are 10 players on one team, and I'll back up a bit. I don't want to ascribe or presume to know what their motivations were, and I do know some people who are genuinely just not certain about the vaccine. They just feel doubt about, maybe they're not big on medicines in general,
But they'll take supplements that they have no idea what's in them.
Well, again, you can't use a broad brushstroke. I think if you're taking vitamin C from Trader Joe's, I can see how you might be okay with that, but not okay with the vaccine. I'm just saying, for some people, I do think they, honest to goodness, have health issues, or issues with it regarding, health. What's interesting to me is that there are 10 on one team, because there is such a thing as societal pressure or societal permission. And what I mean by that is there was the first wave of people to get vaccinated, but as time passed, more and more people who were hesitant to get the vaccine decided to get one. I remember before the vaccine came out, this is when we were still talking about, hey, they're working on a vaccine. This was on multiple questions on both the overtime section of the show and then the Charlie Brennan show. Would you be the first in line? And I remember my answer, and I think a couple of other answers were like, well, maybe I'd let the first round go. Again, this was before the vaccine, and then I'd get it. I remember saying that.
Sure,
now, again,
but we're like 18 months past all that.
And I get that. But what I'm saying is, I wonder if there were members of other baseball teams who were hesitant but had kind of that team pressure. But now with the Royals, with there being so many unvaccinated, it remained a bit easier to stay unvaccinated. Do you know what I mean? If you're the only one on your team versus one of 10, that's a different level of pressure.
It's an interesting question because now there's a story from Sam McDowell of the Kansas City Star who talked to some of the other players. And one of them said, quote, a few of us are pissed. And the rest of the story, had like the lead of it says some Royals players have concluded that their teammates simply don't care, or at least don't care enough. Now, that's coming from their teammates. That's not from Vahe Gregorian. That's not us. And I think that's the interesting part of it is what is it doing to the clubhouse dynamic when it's so many guys? And I don't know how you do anything about that. I mean, it's a big part of your roster.
Yeah. And again, taking the politics or how you feel about the vaccine out of it, if you're saying, yeah, I don't want to do this, and you're the only one on the whole roster, there's more pressure. You have to really dig in than if you have 9 other people on your side. Then you feel like, well, this is a valid stance. So I do think there's something to be said for why the number is either a bunch on one team or 0, because it would be hard to be the only one.
A texter from a 314 says, it is not primarily political why most people choose not to be vaccinated. They do not offer an other explanation, but I think it's telling that the majority of the people who are not doing it on these teams are American-born because the vaccine is hyper-political in this country.
Yeah, we got a texter that said it took 20 years to develop the flu vaccine, 9 months. It was built off all of the research
that they've been
the
doing for
ones,
decades.
Guys. Yeah,
this is not new technology.
They didn't start from 0 and come up
Correct.
with
Did you hear what Glover said?
Every day, of course, new studies, new surveys, new this, new that. And it's all about gut health, which is now the most important thing in the world. It's not just about what you eat, it's about when you eat it. And I just about had a meltdown. And I think you guys will get this. But don't you yearn sometimes for the days of like grandma made an apple pie out of lard and you just eat it?
Right.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm just so tired of the minutia about life.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs. 314-752-2500 or CrawfordButts.com.
It's Mark Cox. Grab your lederhosen. We're off to Bavaria, castles and medieval villages, Germany's most beautiful city, Munich, the Hofbrauhaus, and majestic Zugspitze in the Alps. We'll even see Austria. $49.49. That includes your airfare. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. We'll follow the rise and fall of the Nazi Party. We'll see the Dachau concentration camp and Hitler's Eagle's Nest. I'll see you at the Glockenspiel.
If you're recently retired or nearing retirement, you've got your work cut out for you. Between soaring inflation, stock market volatility, and the threat of higher taxes, saving and investing alone won't be enough. Learn how you could overcome today's toughest retirement challenges in a one-night adult education class called Retirement 101. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, one of the largest advisory firms in St. Louis. The strategies discussed are best suited for people who have saved at least $300,000 for retirement. And if you call today, your tuition fee is waived. To register, call 314-626-8817. This is your opportunity to learn from decades of financial planning experience. Call 314-626-8817. 626-8817.
At 1:30 right now, we've got some clouds, some sun, 94 degrees downtown at the Arch. Happening now.
For Warrington. Would you please now join me in this moment of silence?
A moment of silence in the city of Buffalo, New York. It's been 2 months since the deadly mass shooting there at a grocery store, and officials are holding a ceremony and a moment of silence right now. President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid stood side by side and declared they would not allow Iran to become a nuclear power, but they diverged on how to reach that outcome. Biden says he still wants to give diplomacy a chance, while Lapid insists that tough words alone won't thwart Tehran's nuclear ambitions. An American tourist had to be rescued on Mount Vesuvius near Naples after he apparently slipped into the Italian volcano's crater while trying to recover his fallen cell phone.
Say the tourist and family members had gone off the authorized path to get closer to the crater on Saturday afternoon, apparently to take a selfie. 4 volcano guides had responded quickly after one noticed the tourist had fallen into the crater and was in serious difficulty. They lowered a rope 50 feet down, pulled the tourist out, and provided initial first aid. Park police then arrived and brought the American to the police station to file the complaint. Mount Vesuvius, which erupted in AD 79 and devastated the nearby town of Pompeii, is a popular spot for hiking. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Traffic and weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. And there's a crash 44 west before 270 on the right shoulder, and a crash 270 north before 6440 on the right shoulder. And the forecast overnight clear, low 74. For tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, still hot with a high of 95. Right now, it's 94 downtown at the Arch. Feels like 96. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 3rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in St. Louis, and Thursday, August 4th at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The following is a commercial announcement.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Military Appreciation Night, presented by Valley Sports Midwest, returns to the ballpark on Friday, July 15th. With the purchase of a theme ticket, fans receive an exclusive Cardinals cap honoring their favorite branch of the military. Plus, don't miss a pregame performance by United States Air Force Band Starlifter on the Budweiser stage. A portion of each ticket purchased will be donated to USO Missouri. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/theme. When the Cardinals host the Reds on Friday, July 15th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a specially designed all-over print Cardinals hat, courtesy of Brown & Crouppen. Dress to impress with this exclusive Cardinals hat, featuring vintage Cardinals logos all over. That's Friday, July 15th. The Cardinals, the Reds, and the all-over print hat. Great seats remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotions.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sundays at 10:15 on Sports Open Line, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
On KMOX.
People try to put us to down.
All right, it's Thursday on the show on KMOX. And actually, I'm going to throw this to you guys. I got a question for you guys, and I want to throw this to our text line as well, 314-436-7900. Now, keep in mind, there are a couple of rules. These are not for you guys. These are for the text line. But a couple of rules here. We are not fighting across party lines here. I'm asking a question about the dynamics within the parties at this moment, right? And looking ahead to 2024. We've talked a lot today about how there are a lot of people who voted for Joe Biden that don't want him to run again, right? It was like 64% of Democrats don't want him to run again. We talked about the polling numbers from him. Yeah, it was a lot. It was 2/3 at least. But a lot of them don't want him to run again. There's a lot of push against Donald Trump in some circles in the Conservative Party. There was a story today of like 70 plus, oh no, it was a 72-page report put out by conservatives shooting down a lot of the election theories that Trump and his team were putting out there, right? It feels like the battles right now are not Democrat versus Republican, but more internal battles as to who is going to be the face of the party in 2 years.
Oh, the intra-party fighting and division is about as bad as I've seen it, within both parties, but especially the Republican Party. And Wheels, as you just pointed out, Trump mentioned that it's highly likely. He didn't officially announce, but said it's highly likely.
Said he's made up his mind.
Yes. And he could announce as early as September, officially. Here's the thing. That's before the midterms. If there is anything as stupid and selfish and self-absorbed and completely focused solely on yourself. I used the term, I guess we're allowed to say this. I used the term attention whore for Trump. That's what he is, because the Republicans right now are slated to have big victories in the midterms. If you're a Republican, that's a big deal. Then you have the Roe issue, right? You have the leak, and then you have the decision being overturned. That's a big obstacle to overcome for Republicans. But because things are so bad right now, it's still up in the air and who's going to take the House or the Senate or keep the House or the Senate in midterms. If Trump throws his hat into the ring, I think that might be the death knell for Republicans in the midterms. It could do so much damage. And this is when I think, okay, well, maybe a Ron DeSantis, who is incredibly popular right now among Republicans, maybe he needs to throw his name, his hat into the ring right now, because he has got to stop any momentum that Trump is trying to build up from himself. And if you're a Republican, you think Trump cares about you, he doesn't. It is always about Trump. It will always be about Trump, and it is only about Trump.
Well, his entire public life has always been about him, and I don't know how people don't see that. He was a celebrity for being wealthy and for being a businessman for 30-something years before running for office. So I'm not sure how people don't see that. But I also don't believe that if DeSantis declares now, I'm running for president, how that would stop Trump from doing it. And because I can absolutely see him trying to disrupt that and saying, no, you don't. You think you're running for president? I'm running for president. And I'm putting my hat in right now to announce that, because like you said, he does not really care what the party wants, in as much as it would help him in some way. As long as it benefits him, I think he'll like it. But really, his entire driving force is himself. It's all about him. And I don't know how that's not clear to more people. But I do think that if DeSantis decides he's doing it, he's going to say, oh, no, you don't. I'm Mr. Trump, and so I'm going to win.
Unless he truly sees the momentum and thinks there's a chance he's going to lose, because he doesn't want to keep losing. He hates to lose. He turns his back on someone
Then you know
if
what
they
he'll
lose.
do? He'll do the same thing that people have been saying about Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton for years, that Bernie should have been the nominee, but the party didn't want him and they forced him out. He'll do the exact same thing about the Republican Party, and it will cause problems for them.
It might. I hope he says the Republican Party forced me out, and I hope the Republican says, heck yeah, we did, because that would be the best thing for the Republican Party to move forward.
I don't know if it would.
I mean, in the short term, would it really? Because you're going to lose a lot of people. If he were to turn around, let's say that happened, would you put it beyond him to turn around and run as an independent? And if he did, that's
he wouldn't win as an independent, but he would take a lot of votes.
It depends on how you, because I don't know. I mean, I think that's a valid point, Wheels, and I don't know where it falls. Again, it might be a little bit of that pressure within the party to go with the guy who wins. And the thing is, Ron DeSantis is the type of guy that could pull some Trumpy voters towards his side of the race. And so there is a chance that you could bleed some Trump voters out of his camp into DeSantis. How many? I don't know. But we are seeing more and more that a lot of Republicans are tired of Trump's antics. And I just think it's time for the Republicans who care about the party to step up. Trump is not a conservative. He's not a lifelong Republican. He has no values other than to keep the spotlight solely focused on him to the demise of the Republican Party.
Here's what I know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say what I know for a fact will not happen is he will not look at polling that DeSantis is beating him or that more people want him and say, you know what, I probably should just step back and let them. He's not going to do it without making a stink about it. He's going to throw a grenade one way or another.
I mean, he is still leading the polling.
Right.
I mean, if he looks at that, Trump is still leading that. Now, the story I saw, I think this was on The Hill, but it was close to half of Republican primary voters want someone other than Donald Trump. And that's kind of along the lines of the Biden thing we talked about earlier, except it was more. It was more like 2/3 of the Democrats who will decide that don't want him, but they will all support whoever gets it, right? If Trump gets it, that won't be 50%. That's going to be a much bigger number that vote for him, that cast the vote for him.
And here's what I'm hoping, and here's why it matters who the Republicans put out in the primary and how early those names go in the ring. Because if you pick a name that is not inspiring and that doesn't seem like they could win, this is going back. Remember, was there anyone less inspiring than Jeb Bush? If they put forward a Jeb Bush type character, heck, I think you could say Tom Cotton. No one's going to be really rallying around Tom Cotton. I think then they're in trouble. But if you pick a guy, again, I keep going back to DeSantis, but because he's in the headlines and because he has the whole own the libs vibe, right? And this winning vibe that strong Trumpers really like, I think there's a chance that his personality could bleed some Trump voters over to him.
Right. Well, is it enough? I mean,
I don't know.
That's a question.
According to this is from the New York Times. They did a poll with Siena College, and Trump is at 49%. So again, this is of Republican primary voters who they would choose. He's first at 49%. So the newsy part was it's less than half, but he's still the most. And he has twice the support that DeSantis has now, according to that poll. Now, other polls may tell a different story, and we have more than 2 years. This can change.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot and same thing with the Biden thing. There's a lot that can change there. But that's what's fascinating to me is we don't have a full-on split within either party, and we know that those people will support their candidate in the general against the quote-unquote other team, right? I don't think that's really the question, which is why I think it might be more interesting right now to see how those internal battles are going to play out.
Yeah.
I'm very interested on both ends here because obviously a lot of people don't want Biden to be the president any longer. If they have to vote for him, they will, if that's the choice. I mean, if it's Biden versus Trump, there are a lot of people who are going to vote Biden again. But clearly they would prefer for him to not be that guy any longer. So how does it play out? He's already said he wants to. He's already said he's going to and intends to be the president again. How do you tell him he can't be? How does the party tell him he can't?
And it's the same with both of those guys.
Yeah.
Well,
right? One was.
I think it's harder for Democrats. Well, I don't know. I'd say that, but I think Trump. Here's what Trump is going to do. If he is not the nominee, he will say, I'm going to be an independent.
I don't know, because he doesn't like to lose. Independents
that's what I'm
never
saying.
win.
But I don't even think he wants to lose the primary.
How about this?
He went and started his own social media thing because he can't be on Twitter.
You never know. I
want to start my own party. I'm starting my own thing. I'm doing it.
A couple of texts on it. So 314-436-7900. Big Al said, as a Republican, if Trump announced before midterms, I won't vote for president, period. Same with Greitens in the Senate, which is, again, an interesting thing. I don't know that he's in the majority, but that is an interesting sentiment.
If you're a Republican, you should be really nervous if Trump announces before the midterms. He could blow this up and ruin, which is, I don't want to say a guaranteed victory because the Roe thing, who knows how that's going to affect midterms. But yes, I think Trump would blow up the midterms and ruin ruin seats that should have been turned Republican. I think he's going to ruin it for a lot of Republicans.
I don't think you read this text, the one about
That's
the
what I'm going to
age.
next.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Read that one.
Go ahead.
From a 618, presidential election of 2024. If you're under the age of 65, you'll have a better chance of my vote. That goes back to kind of what we were talking about yesterday with the chocolate chip cookies.
If you're under the age of 70, you have a better chance.
I think that for a lot of people, they're tired of folks who have been around for a long time. And I don't think the perceived mental capacity of the current president is helping with the idea that an older person can do this job. And the last president was old too. I feel like there's and it's not to say that old people can't do this job well, but I'm getting the sense that people around the country are tired of old people running the country.
I know that,
and they want more fresh blood in.
And I know people are tired of not age old, but the old guard of people that have been around and influencing things for decades. People want fresh opinions, ideas, and perspective that if you've been in the political game for 30 or 40 years, you're just not going to have.
I think there needs to be some of both. You need to have some people, again, with the institutional knowledge like we talk about.
I will just say this. How scary would it be for most Americans if you sat in a room with Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Donald Trump and just like these very old Dianne Feinstein who've been around for a long time.
Grassley.
And Grassley, and you sit at a table with them and you just watch them operate, you would go, oh my gosh, we are being run by people who shouldn't be allowed to drive. The people who they're so old they can barely stand upright. I'm not trying to be ageist. They're not able to do the job anymore.
Right. I mean, we definitely need to judge capability on a case-by-case basis,
Yes.
not by the calendar. But again, I do think my bigger problem is you've been in the game too long. It's time to give someone else a chance.
Yeah. And you have to have the capability.
Yeah.
These guys are struggling.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. During summer, be sure to use dishwashers and stoves in the evening to minimize the effects of heat. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Biden and the radical left that controls Congress broke the national bank. They unleashed the inflation monster, which broke into our homes and smashed our family piggy banks. Bidenflation now costs you $460 more every month. It's a Biden failure tax that hits the poor and middle class hardest. Our Congressman, Blaine Luetkemeyer, is fighting to fix what Biden broke.
We can get America back on track. First, we have to stop Biden's runaway spending of money we don't have to bring down inflation. We have to end Biden's war on American energy and return to energy independence. That will bring down gas prices, and we build that wall and re-secure the border.
Our Congressman, Blaine Luetkemeyer, is fighting to fix what Biden broke. Blaine Luetkemeyer is one of us, leading for us.
I'm Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to get your Missouri medical marijuana card, today is the day at 420id.com. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in. 420id.com is a BBB accredited business with over 16,000 happy Missouri patients. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420id.com. Open late every day until 9 p.m. Sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card now at 420id.com and use promo code RADIO for $30 off today.
This is Corey with Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Shopping around for new HVAC systems is something nobody ever wants on their to-do list. So let's help make things easier with free estimates on new equipment, up to $2,150 on Carrier Cool Cash rebates, and 0% financing for up to 72 months. With over 50 years of award-winning service, you can trust Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling with your new system install. For details and to get in your comfort zone, contact Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
With Pedal the Cause, you can make a real difference in the fight against cancer. Ride your bike, grab a spot in the spin zone, volunteer, and join the celebration September 23rd through 25th. 100% of participant-raised funds support innovative cancer research at Siteman Cancer Center and Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Together, we can create a world without cancer. Get started now at pedalthecause.org. That's pedalthecause.org.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information. Tom Ackerman sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Mahotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
How long does it take an adult to learn to swim? It typically takes 20 hours of set lessons. What are you waiting for? Go to swimonfoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444. Kevin, Amy, and Chris now.
Best friends together.
Dave Glover at 2 on KMOX.
All right, so let's update on our poll from earlier today. We were talking about, we got to name them the Millennium Hotel Weeds. That would be a band too, the Millennium Hotel Weeds.
I think just Hotel Weeds.
Hotel Weeds? The Hotel Weeds. We talked about it earlier, and the impression that it makes when people see on TV, whether or not people even notice. So we posted a poll. Amy did, at Amy Mark Scores. We retweeted on the show, at the show KMOX. Do you hate the weeds growing on top of the Millennium Hotel downtown? And the potential answers were, so the third place finisher so far, I mean, it's still open, but of the voters we've had today during the show, 11.8% of people say no, don't hate them. Who cares? We had 43.5% say yes, I hate them. It ruins the skyline. And then 44.6% of the people are with me who say, never noticed them. Never noticed them.
Where are you seeing the points? I only get 44%. I don't get the 44.6.
I'm just looking at the Twitter on my laptop.
Me too.
I'm looking too, and it says 44.4% never noticed.
Right. We had one more vote since then. Yeah, we had one more vote.
So, basically, it's pretty close between the people who have seen it and hate it, and the people who just didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
But overwhelmingly, as Amy pointed out earlier, of all the people who have noticed it, overwhelmingly people hate it.
So if you've noticed it, it's 4-1. Hate versus no, don't care.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I also didn't specify St. Louis, so most of my followers probably know I'm talking about St. Louis, but there's a whole chain of Millennium Hotels.
I think we all know, though, which one we're talking about. I mean, it's downtown St. Louis. How many Millennium Hotels are there downtown?
Well, but downtown New York. I'm looking at Millennium downtown.
Your people are all St. Louis.
We're doing a radio show in St. Louis. I think people deduce that.
Millennium in Kuwait.
Yeah, I don't think that's the one they're going to think of.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think they'd have a very difficult time. I know it just, again, I can't believe we've spent a decent amount of time talking about it. And it's not that it's I don't really think it's a stupid topic.
It's not.
It's stupid that we have to talk about it.
I think it's
stupid that that enough people, a significant amount of people have noticed it like we have and think it looks really bad. Because think of a downtown area anywhere. that you could think of, like a mid-market to a major market city. I can't think of one that I'm aware of that would have a building that's so decrepit in the heart of the city, across the street from a baseball stadium, which is the jewel of the city, and has a building that looks like that nothing is being done with it for almost a decade now.
Yes. Okay. It's like this, as Ron pointed out. It's the skyline. It's the jewel of St. Louis. We set up the stadium so that
we
could
see it.
See this beautiful skyline.
Yes.
That is like if you do what so many people do with their Christmas photos. They gather the family. They put all the kids in pastel shirts and white shorts, and you go to Destin, Florida, where the beaches are white and beautiful and the water's crystal blue, and you hire a professional photographer and you go, this is our family. We're going to feature our family in the most beautiful, pristine setting. And you take the picture, and there's a dog pooping in the background, and you don't take
it's a
that
classic photo, though.
Or there's a dead whale on the beach.
There's a dead whale on the beach.
You should have seen it.
Yeah,
What?
I guess you should have, but it shouldn't be. Should have seen the dead whale, but
kind of hard to miss. It's a whale.
We had a number of ideas. Somebody said take a drone up there and yeah, I don't know if that's possible. Somebody wants to put Roundup, but Roundup that's the stuff that's
in the news.
It's in the news.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to use Roundup. But I guess nobody lives up there.
That's-
Clearly nobody lives up there. Otherwise, the
in
weeds
that
would be
sense,
taken
it's
care
not like
of.
it's going to bleed through the whole building and into the groundwater.
No. It's just, it's really a shame. I hope something does get done with it. I would prefer there is not because the people who own it are in Texas. They don't have to see it every day.
Let's call Texas. Let's call them and say,
we
excuse
should.
me,
Well, let's get
your
those
weeds.
idiots on the phone. See what we can do about this.
Gonna wrap it up for the show. I wonder if DGS is going to talk about weeds on the
No, probably
millennium.
not.
No?
It's only us who care.
DGS coming up after the news on KMOX.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did.